Here's the story of a lovely lady who was bringing up 3 very lovely girls. All of them had hair of gold, like their mother, the youngest one in curls. It's the story of a man named Brady who was busy with 3 boys of his own. They were 4 men living all together, yet they were all alone. Till the one day when the lady met this fellow, and they knew that it was much more than a hunch, that this group must somehow form a family. That's the way we all became the Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. The Brady Bunch. That's the way we became the Brady Bunch.
Carlos.
That's always a great.
Oh, shit. I've never seen that one before.
I forgot I made that one.
Holy shit!
Yeah, standard night show. What up, boys and lady?
Oh man,
Jay?
What's the
and
age
other.
on some of those pics? I saw Dag with hair and me with no facial hair and definitely no grays at the time.
I perused y'all's Facebook pages for those and found young looking pics since y'all were supposed to be the boys, you know.
Young looking pics.
Yeah.
I mean, I did the best I could with Steve.
There's that one picture of him in a leather jacket. That is something else.
Boy, oh boy.
Oh yeah.
His son favors him in that way, like the especially whenever I think he posted something with his like son in a suit or whatever, and I was like, they look so much alike there.
Like father, like son.
It happens.
Not with me. Mine looks just like his mother. Good God.
Exactly.
Sean should be getting a scholarship for a starting position somewhere on the offensive line. That dude could be a starter somewhere.
He didn't like football.
Give him a Subaru, he'll be all set.
Get him a Subaru. God.
We were at my buddy's birthday party the other day at this bar, and he's got a friend who's a very, very, very butch lesbian. They've been friends since high school or whatever. And I'm sitting at one end of the bar talking to the wife, and she's like, "Man, how come none of these guys, like they're all car guys, how come none of them have tattoos?" But I'm like, well, you know, they're mostly lawn service guys. They just hang out with car guys. But anyhow, but I was like, that girl down there's got tattoos. And she's like, "What are you talking about?" I'm like, "The third in, the girl down there." And she's like, what the fuck? Like, it's all dudes. I'm like, "No, the third, it's a lesbian." He's like, "Oh, I see it now." He totally thought it was a dude.
Good. She drive a Subaru though.
No, big
Oh,
F-150.
See that explains it. That
Okay.
explains it.
She's committed. She's legit.
Yeah.
She's a real one.
Trying to be butch, like
Yeah.
Yeah, dude was telling me that she used to be real pretty in like middle school, and then something like sophomore year said fuck girliness and just went total butch.
Yeah,
Okay,
that
careful what
happens.
you vote. She's very nice.
Speaking of
committed.
Yeah.
speaking of getting old, I've got my 25th high school reunion coming up this year.
Oh,
It's our first reunion, so we haven't had one yet. We were supposed to have one for our 20th, but 2020 was a little wacky.
he's the same age as me.
And
Mine's next weekend, my 25th class reunion.
are you going?
Next Saturday. I'm part of the planning process, I guess. I don't know how I got roped into this, but yes, I'm going.
I signed up for something 25 years ago, hoping that everyone would forget, but these bastards remembered.
They tried to do like a delayed 20th a couple years ago, and we were supposed to go to that, and then the weekend of, she was like, "I don't want to go." But now we live here, and like it's literally right over there.
It's
so
7 minutes down the road, so we have no excuse. Not
we
to
can
go.
just get drunk and walk home.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
a
one
long
thing
walk.
One thing I noticed is in the ramp up to it, I got added to a Facebook group, my graduating class, whatever. And I'm looking through and I'm like, I don't remember, like, none
Half
of
of
these
these
names even ring a bell. I'm looking at pictures of people. I'm like, I've never seen these people in my life. So then they started asking, hey, share some pics from high school so we can put together a photo montage that's playing in the background or whatever. And then all these people that I had no fucking clue who they were started posting pictures from them in high school. And I was like, holy fucking shit. Like some of the big titted goth chicks are now like skinny HR reps. I don't know how that happened. Some of them are fatter HR reps. Some of them are just regular normal looking people that I'm
Stop talking about HR people, okay?
That I'm assuming are in HR. I don't know. I'm not making it up. I'm literally like looking into who they are, and they're
very
all
specific.
Yes, I'm in HR.
My point is how much they've changed to where like all the dudes look the same. None of them have changed, but all the women, with the exception of like 2, I had no idea who they were.
Well, they probably changed their hair color and everything like 5 times, right? Or stuff like that.
Like back in the 90s, the angsty, gothy metal, like Marilyn Manson, everything. All my hair is dyed black. My face is pale. I never knew their real hair color, or like that they could have any skin color. They've completely like gone normal, and I'm like, you could be witness protection program for all I know. Like, you'd fool me. I don't know. Chicks can be chameleons with their looks and appearance.
I'm so bad with faces. Like, I'm just, any mild disguise or just change of haircut, and like people are like unrecognizable to me. Like, watching movies and stuff. It's always I ask the wife, like, who's that? She's like, oh, this movie we watched yesterday, that movie we watched the day before, that movie we watched the day before. They were in all that. I'm like, oh my God, what? Like, not familiar at all. What kind of car you drive? I can usually remember that. If I work on your car, oh, remember it came to your shop. What kind of car? Red Civic. Boom, gotcha.
That's why everyone's like, oh, you can't tell Superman from Clark Kent because of the glasses. Yeah, right. It's like, dude, look at Zooey Deschanel without bangs. Completely different person.
Oh, did you see the new Chris Pratt commercial? I didn't recognize his ass.
Which commercial?
Oh,
it's Chris Pratt and Chris Hemsworth, and neither one of them are really look like. Yeah, it took me a couple times to what?
Is it that new movie role? Or what?
I'm pulling it up right now.
Yeah, are you like? I have been sick.
Another one is like, who is it? Tom Hardy. That dude can change appearances.
Yeah, there's.
That's. I can tell Chris Hemsworth there.
That must be Hemsworth. Here's Pratt. He looks like not like skinny, like sickly skinny, but just like thinner. Because like, in like Parks and Rec, he was like chubby, but then he got like, he looked good in like Jurassic Park movies, and this one it's like he lost like bulk or something. I don't know.
He looked good.
We're just growing up.
How good did he look, Dag?
Hey man, I'm comfortable enough with my heterosexuality to, say that Chris Pratt was, hotter than me. What do you want?
Better in the Guardians of the Galaxy, right?
He got jacked for Guardians of the Galaxy, but he was extra jacked.
I didn't see that.
He was extra jacked in a couple of the Jurassic Park movies, and then he kind of thinned down a little bit in some of the later Guardians of the Galaxy and Avengers movies. Like the first Avengers the first Guardians of the Galaxy movie, he was like jacked, and then the 2 Jurassic Park movies came out after that, and he got even more jacked for those, and then he kind of slimmed down a little bit after that.
Well, I didn't watch the Jurassic Park movies, so I only watched them in Guardians of the Galaxy because
I have them.
That I don't want to watch them. I only want to see them in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Because I'm an adult and a girl. I have no interest in dinosaurs.
I feel good. I don't want to watch Jurassic Park. It was all garbage.
Jurassic Park. Okay, Jurassic Park is one of those that I get really upset about because not only was the original book way better than the movie, the second book was infinitely better than the second movie, and then there is no third book or beyond. That's all like horse shit.
I treat Jurassic Park like Fast and the Furious, where instead of where the cars are dinosaurs. And like, I don't know, after the first 2 movies, I just stopped keeping up.
Because they just keep making more and more
and
more.
Nobody
wants to watch it.
The fourth.
I think you were gonna say, I don't care if the dinosaurs go to the moon. I will watch it anyway. And don't put
Jurassic Park on space. Or in space.
The fourth Fast and the Furious was actually okay, but then they just kept going after that, and it was like, what the fuck just happened? Like then they turned it into like an action franchise. Although Stephanie made me take her to the theater to see number 9, was it? Because it had John Cena.
Yeah, but you couldn't
The
see
only
him.
thing that matters. John Cena is my man.
All I know is like Fast and the Furious movies.
He was
have
in 10
become-
too.
I will watch anything John Cena. So
Except for staying up long enough to actually watch him wrestle.
because
Well,
I'm old and I need to go to bed.
I think I told y'all about this the other day. She'll put on the whatever the Saturday night event is, and to watch it, she's like, John Cena's wrestling tonight. I'm gonna watch this. I'm like, no, you're not. She's like, yes, I am. I'm staying up. So I come over here, play video games for like 2 hours, go back to bed. She's sitting there just like, John Cena's on wrestling. So I sit down and I like take pictures of the TV of him wrestling and him like winning and holding up the belt. And then I send them to her so that she sees them in the morning. It's like, sorry. And I'll poke her and be like, hey, he's on. And she's like, all right.
I don't know if you'd like him too much right now. He's a heel.
I
He's
don't
gone-
care.
Yeah.
I don't care if he's the bad guy. It's all a ruse anyway. So we
I
all
was going off about this the other day that it's dangerous for John Cena to be a heel because he's like the idol of all the sillies, you know, all the Down syndrome kids and shit. He needs to be a supremely good, nice, kind guy and keep them on the right path. If he goes heel, dude, we could be in for some rough times, dude.
Right.
All the
Yeah.
Downies are gonna come trying to be fucking heels. We
If
don't.
all the Downies turn into heels, oh my god, like that's the end of the world.
This is all an
Yeah, man.
elaborate
Let's take out
experiment by RFK. Maha is really just making the autist go nuclear to run tests to see can we use them in Iran.
Yes.
So John Cena,
They got the retard straight.
yes, yeah. You put a couple Downies in the sandbox, they're gonna have a ball. That's all I'm saying.
Just say,
Right,
here's
tell
how
them-
you fire the gun. Go this way. We're going for it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just gonna go out happy because they're just gonna be like, with a smile on their
John
face.
Cena told me to do it. I'm so happy. I'm doing what John Cena wanted me to do. All
They're just going to be an army of tards running through the desert, just doing this, thinking that nobody can even see them. They're gonna go out brave. They're gonna go out brave. I salute you, RFK, and John Cena, who's clearly doing a CIA op right in front of our very eyes. There, I've blown it wide open.
Don't talk about my man, okay?
He's doing the Lord's work. He's doing.
Justin, I would leave him for John Cena.
Oh, wow.
Oh, you got him picking his teeth. I was about to add him, and I was like, I'll give him a second. He looks like he's still setting up. What up, Sam?
John Cena is
Hey.
engaged in MK Ultra chromosome. Sorry.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, mercy.
No, you walked in a weird spot, Sam, but welcome.
Sam comes in like,
I said, what in the world is this?
See, and that's our truth.
Holy shit. We got people here this week.
A little bit.
what are you doing? You gonna pull up a stool and join us?
Family podcast hour.
We're talking about John Cena
Why are you talking about Johnson?
because he's the man.
Sean's joining us, so yeah, it's really family podcast hour for real. Although we don't talk about any family friendly topics, this is mostly just like shit talk and horrible. You missed the pre-show conversation. That's where it was at. We were talking about like one titty crackheads and all kinds of crazy stuff. Like we almost ran the meth commercial.
Look at me, busy as a bee. Where'd I get all this energy? Oh, man, man. I don't sleep and I don't eat, but I've got the cleanest house on the street.
I missed all the
man,
good stuff, huh?
man. Get these hairs all out of my face. Get these bugs all out of my place. One more hit, no time to waste. Oh, man, man.
My face.
So good, dude.
Yeah.
Apparently,
I love
Sean's concerned. What? Apparently, Sean's never seen that before.
Oh, Sean,
I mean,
you young
90% of that's a pro meth ad, honestly.
Yeah, that's pro meth.
Yeah, it makes you lose weight. Your house gets fucking clean. You know, all this until it's like, oh,
I mean, your
the
grass is
chicken.
always mowed, except for you know you're doing it at 1 a.m. But you know,
Yeah, your grass is always very well vacuumed. Yeah.
See, if they let me run the TLC channel instead of the small hats, which I'm assuming they do, I don't know. I haven't looked it up.
It's a good guess.
I would combine two of their biggest shows and fix both of their problems. I would combine Hoarders with Intervention and put the meth people with the Hoarders. That house would be spick and span in like 72 hours. But also give the fatties meth. Shrink them down.
See, that's the better crossover. Because here's the thing. I've known a lot of meth heads, and they're all fucking hoarders. So
that's true.
Find shit. I'm gonna do so. I'm gonna take this beat up washing machine. I'm gonna fix it. I'm gonna sell that bitch, and then it just sits in the fucking backyard forever.
I was gonna say with crossing Hoarders and Intervention, you're probably gonna end up with like bum fights because the people, the meth heads are going to be trying to get rid of shit, and the hoarders aren't going to want them to get rid of it. So now you get the bump fight. So now we're creating a whole new genre.
That's the built-in season finale every year. You're looking to see who's going to go against who the whole season.
There are layers. Now, to your point though, Magoo, there was a Hoarders that we watched recently where one of the issues was one of the women had other hoarder friends, and they were all crackheads. So the hoarders would steal from each other to add to their hoard, though. So she'd have a problem with her hoarder friends breaking into her house and stealing shit from her hoard.
Because you know what's in your hoard. You know every last item and where it's supposed to be. Or at least where it last was in 1974.
My sister, that we've already talked about, is going to pay me $1,500 to come and organize her crackhead house. So,
but that's just because she's not on the meth anymore, so she can't do it herself.
She's not on the drugs, so I have to go do it for her.
Yeah, well, put a little meth in her water.
She's paying me $1,500. I'm gonna go clean.
Yeah, you take the $1,500, you spend $50 on a little bit, and just stir it in her tea.
We're trying to get her. Trying to keep her off the drugs.
All of the metal. All the metal and anything worth, anything of value is already going to be cleared out.
Yeah, yeah. Bring a fan because her AC unit's already stripped.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about just wearing a GoPro at work lately because I realized this week I should really be trying to get fired because I make more money than I do buying scrap metal from tweakers. And if I just wear a GoPro and just hide it maybe, because I think I could just tuck it into my reflective vest and just like have a little hole there, I get some probably about a half hour of like really good tweaker conversations in a week. Like
I bet
they all hate each other, they'll all talk shit. Yeah, like I could cut it up and make it like the fucking TLC show.
Hell yeah.
Instigate shit too. Be like, you know what Dave said about you? What the fuck did Dave say about me? He said you stole his shit. I didn't steal his shit.
He also said you're the slowest copper stripper in this whole fucking zip code. That you suck. You take forever.
I had a guy bring in like a flower vase, like a brass one that they steal them from cemeteries, and they all look exactly the same. So like the kind, it's a reoccurring theme.
Yeah,
and
I heard about that.
So we don't buy those as a general policy because they were only ever stolen.
Yep.
So like now I like to fuck with them. Because our business is electricians and plumbers and shit, and we're open and we'll buy shit from the tweakers. But they're not why we're in business, so I can fuck with them. And if it's one that I don't like, because some of them I get along with real well, So if it's one that I don't like, I'll just get on my radio and be like, "Hey, Bryson, you got a copy?" And like, "Yeah, what's up?" When the cops were in here earlier, were they looking for stuff from the cemetery and just see their fucking faces? Like, oh no! I just realized I have an appointment.
Yeah, I'm late for my award ceremony. I gotta go.
Oh, meth. Ooh, meth.
Ooh, meth.
Is I didn't see a live show today, so I assume Johnny's not joining us.
Johnny just messaged me, and they are getting some pretty bad storms, and he's having trouble getting connection. We didn't have a show today, and that was my fault. I went to pick up Katie. I was like, "How early can you go?" And he sent me a message, and I was busy and missed the message.
Get off my chair.
Whatever, I'm about to leave. I was busy and missed the message, and so we had about a 45-minute window that we could have done a quick one, but I missed it. I had to go pick up Katie, and then after that, I had an electrician at the old house. Speaking of electricians, I had an electrician at the old house looking at some stuff. Had the inspection done, and the buyer saw the inspection and wants a bunch of stuff taken care of, except that most of the stuff that needs to be taken care of, there's nothing that needs to be taken care of. If you've never gone through an inspection before, the inspectors are fucking retards. They put a bunch of stuff down because they don't know what the fuck they're looking at. And then you have to call a contractor out who comes out and looks at it and says, yeah, there's nothing there. We're not doing anything with that. And they'll fill out a whole big fucking form that says none of this shit that the inspector said needs to be fixed actually needs to be fixed. The inspector's an idiot. And then you can take that back to the seller or to the buyer and be like, look, all the professionals looked at this shit and said there's nothing that needs to be fixed here. Shut the fuck up, please, and just let's close on this goddamn house already. So I'm getting all of the contractors to come look at all this shit so I can give all of that to the buyer and be like, your inspector's a moron and you're a moron for listening to him. I told you all of this stuff when you were at the house and looked at it. I pointed every bit of this fucking stuff out and told you what it was, but you didn't listen to me. You paid an inspector, and the inspector pointed it out, and now I've got contractors who are going to tell you that I was right and your inspector's a dumbass, but whatever.
So what you're saying is we need to call ICE and send them to Mexico to pull Johnny back to the States so that I don't know. I'm working a plane here. It looks like ICE is a little too busy here. Maybe we can send them to foreign countries and bring people in that we actually want here.
Johnny, they're having storms down there. He can't get connection.
Mexico storms.
Mexican storms. What's that in Spanish?
Yeah.
Ariel, what's
I don't know.
Ariel speaks Portuguese, not Spanish.
Yeah, but
I
he's
speak Spanish as well.
He's a cultured fella.
Yeah,
Bienvenidos a Miami.
When you want me to call Roxanne.
but I don't know the word for electrical storm in Spanish. If it's the same as in Portuguese, it's like
Let's ask Google Translate.
tempestade elétrica.
You want me
But
to
I
call
don't know.
Roxanne?
Is it,
Call Roxanne.
when I worked in the field, it was like mucho lleve.
What?
I was like, huh?
Nieve.
Lleve.
Nieve.
No, nieve. The N's are
Snow.
silent where I live. I
Snow.
don't know about you. Oh yeah, that's snow. That's right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we worked in snow too.
If it was the storm, it's mucha lluvia.
Donde está?
Oh
la
yeah,
fiesta?
lluvia. Lluvia,
Yeah.
chuvia.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, it's all coming back to me now.
What up, typo?
I took 2 years of
Hey,
Spanish
it's
and don't
okay.
speak a fucking lick, so.
Dos años of español and no comprendo.
No comprendo.
Not even a little bit. Just
Greatest
did it.
repertoire.
I just did it because I was told it looked good on a college application.
did they highlight it when you were applying? They were like, "Well, we were on the borderline." No, we were on the border. The Spanish really made us.
Tormenta electricia is what the
Ooh.
Google Translate says. And
Tormenta
Tormenta
eléctrica.
sounds.
Man, I'm just waiting for the guac to come out now. You sounded so believable.
Tormenta electricia.
So they suspended. I was watching. I don't know if you guys are following the clubs World Cup, the soccer that is happening in Miami.
It's the wrong time
I
of
saw
year.
the-
Sorry.
Is
I
that
saw
why
the,
traffic was so bad today?
What?
I was in Miami today and traffic was just extra awful.
Yeah, probably because of that. Like
Ah.
so yesterday they have to like I was watching my team, and they have to suspend the match for I don't know half an hour because of electrical storm.
Is the World Cup this year?
So it's not the World Cup for nations. This one is for clubs. This one it's the first one they're doing this way. They had different versions of this, but this is the first one that seems like legit, like that there's representing teams from all continents.
Yeah.
Just another way to get like FIFA like clubs over here.
Like qualifying matches or
Yeah.
exhibition matches or whatever.
Yeah.
I just keep hearing that.
It's still a
And I think
tournament,
it's
like-
Miami because they need to give some visibility to Messi.
Yeah, probably.
Figures. I just keep hearing that we're having the World Cup here, and I don't know when the fuck it is. Like, there's signs, and on the
that's
news, it's like
next
World
year.
Cup is coming
Next
to
year,
Atlanta,
maybe?
and I'm like,
Yeah, I think it's next year.
I just want to know when to not go downtown.
If there is no Olympics next year is the World Cup. So it's
Yeah,
always-
next year's 26. I can't remember when shit happens anymore. Anyway, what's going on, Typo?
Nothing much, guys. How you guys doing?
Stephanie was commenting on your mustache, and I said, I feel like I should shave my beard and just leave the mustache, and she told me no. That I
Look.
You should do it.
Nice mustache, dude.
Oh, she
Thanks.
says you look like Morgan Wallen.
I guess I'll take that as a compliment. I don't
Yes,
really know what he looks like.
See,
You don't know who that is?
I know who it is. I listen to his music. I just don't really. I've never seen a picture of him.
Oh my God! You.
Well, the only video most of the internet has seen was very blurry cell phone video at 3 a.m. It was across the
Yeah,
street.
yeah.
Kind of difficult.
Oh,
to make
okay.
it
I'll
out.
take it. He looks like a handsome guy, I guess.
I was trying to find that video real quick, but I don't know if I can find it. easily.
Justin, you should go shave everything into a mustache right now. On
Yeah, you
live.
should just come back.
Well, Stephanie said
What?
Look, I know.
Well,
we were
maybe
talking
he'll look
about-
like Morgan Wallen.
I know we were talking about my ability to live in the garage this morning, but that doesn't mean I want to live.
I'm trying to speed run this.
You trying to get him on the couch, dude?
You want to live in the garage?
No.
He's going to live in the garage.
I was just talking about the fact that I have a lot of stuff out here, so if necessary, I could live in the garage.
I think I made you live out here before.
Yeah, for about a month.
This,
I think it was 2 weeks.
This just feels like Israel West Bank all over again.
He had it good out here, so he just needs to.
Do you prefer it out there in the summer or winter, or does it matter?
I have a nice little window unit that
Fuck yeah.
it cools it down pretty quick. Like what? It's been running for about 30 minutes. And
Oh,
it's
he also has a heater too
Nice in
that
here.
I bought for him.
you got a nice big heater, 220 volt.
Oh, dude, you
wired
could just
heater.
poke a hole in the roof and put in a wood burning stove with a blower on that bitch. You could.
Yeah,
Well,
My
we have
neighbor does
that.
that.
But
Hell yeah.
there's already
I have a wood burning stove back there in the corner too.
Hell yeah.
there's a refrigerator, toaster oven,
Air fryer,
an air fryer,
coffee maker.
coffee maker. The only
Sounds
thing
like someone
he
already
doesn't
lives in
have
the
out here is running water.
So can
He
I-
has no running water. Other
So
than
you-
that,
So
And
you
I
guys
just go
are
outside-
planning on put it on Airbnb to rent or?
Well, there's no running water, so like
Uh.
I guess I could like dig a hole and build an outhouse out here. But
camping, we can do that.
Nah, Justin hates people too much to have other people staying there. There's no way that would. it wouldn't.
Yeah, it'd be hard to deal with for me too.
yeah, this is my man cave.
I'm
I
too
don't want
weird.
anybody else out here.
No.
I've got an Xbox over the Xbox.
3 TVs
Xbox
out
One
here.
over
There's
there.
3 TVs.
I got an Xbox One over there.
Yeah,
I've
that
got a
sounds about right.
PlayStation 5, 2, 3, and 4 hooked up to that TV back there. Actually, the 4 is in the other house right now.
There's a bed in here. There's a couch.
Bed,
There's 2
couch.
recliners.
No, this one doesn't recline.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's just
one
a lounge
recliner
chair.
and another big chair.
Well, normally when it's daylight and you can see everything in there, I've said repeatedly, it looks like he recreated the set of Roseanne. in that house.
Pretty much. what it is.
It's fucking awesome. Mainly, it's
Speaking-
it's the blanket on the back of the
Oh,
couch.
the blanket is different. The one I
Okay,
posted in
well-
the Facebook page, and for some reason is pending approval there.
All right, hang on. I'll go approve
I
it.
get tired of him a lot too, and I send him out here.
I don't know what word I used that triggered that alarm.
One too many slurs.
It happens.
Well, you know, they're scanning online groups for radicalism or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's not us, is it? This article the other day I thought was funny. Tripping hikers mistakenly report a companion's death in the Adirondacks. They were all tripping mushrooms, and I guess one of their party got separated, so they like called the authorities and were like, "Oh, our friend's dead," and he wasn't dead, just got separated. Everybody was fine.
What was
They're
the
like, "It was
one
pretty
where
awesome."
some old woman was like tripping balls and they thought she was missing and she joined her own search, like the search party for her, and like walked around for 5 hours helping the search party look for her before she like finally came down and realized what was going on. It's like, oh, look, we're looking for me. Sorry.
Hey guys, I got great news.
Hey guys, guess what? Yeah, that's me. Sorry.
Glad to see everybody cares though.
The best thing was the one in I don't know if you saw it, the one in Alabama where this chick just straight up lied about being kidnapped or whatever.
Yeah, that black chick, chubby black chick.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Where didn't she leave did she get pulled over by the police or I can't remember that story. It was a few years ago. I just remember it was
No, they found the car or whatever, like that she was supposedly kidnapped by or whatever, and then they were trying to find like her, and come to find out, I think she went all the way up to Tennessee, and she was like hanging with some other dude that wasn't her man or whatever.
Oh.
And
Wasn't hanging with her man.
yeah.
Well, you know how like sometimes you hear a story, especially like covered on Black Twitter, and they're like, "Man, that's some white people shit." That whole story, if a picture of her never came out, I would have never been convinced it was anything other than a white chick that pulled that. Like the self-missing reports.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, a lot of woe is me with that group.
Yeah, maybe I'll just plan my own missing party so I can get some attention around here.
White chicks?
Tell them about the chick that was found not guilty. Speaking of some white chick shit, Karen Reed.
You're talking about Karen?
Oh, the murder thing. The murder
Yeah.
thing.
So she out drinking with her cop boyfriend, dropped him off at the house. She backed over him and then left him in the snow, and he died. And then now she was found not guilty of murder, but found guilty of drunk driving.
Typical white. See, when they
Fair's
say
fair.
white privilege,
So,
they're leaving out the
what's
middle
your
word,
take?
and that's
I
women.
saw. See,
White
I
women
saw a lot of.
privilege.
Did you watch the documentary? Because I watched the documentary.
I watched
I watched all of it.
I watched the first trial and then couldn't stand watching the second trial with the same information. So I just
I'm
See, Jim.
fairly certain that she's guilty of murder.
See-
She was pissed off at him and she ran him the fuck over and she left him there to die in the snow.
I think the biggest thing that's led to this conclusion is that it's been 4 years already. She's still got
Yeah.
another year of probation, and they're like, we can't definitively prove because he was also drunk, and there was a lot of like, well, he's one of ours, so we got to make sure she's guilty. And then she's like, I don't know, dude. Like, yeah, I was drunk, but I just left him, and yeah, shit happens, but it wasn't enough to kill him. You knock somebody out in the snow, and it's like 20 below or whatever, and they freeze to death. I don't know. It's I think it's like, what do you? How are you going to make this whole?
man?
Would it not be manslaughter though?
That's what I was
Should
thinking
be.
too. I was like negligent
It
manslaughter
should have
or
been
something.
like, there should have been another charge there that she would have been found guilty of. But the only thing that they found her guilty of was drunk driving.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
all the murder charges were dismissed. So, but
you're really-
the
That's
first
crazy.
trial ended in a mistrial. So
Oh.
How
Yeah,
did
there's
they
a-
even get
there's
her
a
on
here
a
in women's
DUI?
they took-
Did they have her blood?
she was in a car. There was no like DNA or anything.
Right,
Well,
but how
no,
they proved she was drunk at the time.
but I mean, like-
No, I think she.
Yeah, how did
she
it-
admitted to that? She admitted
Yeah.
to that she had been drinking,
Like
and
a
they
plea.
caught her
All
on
right.
camera.
That's it. You just run somebody over, say you were drunk.
Yeah.
Hey, I mean, they do that with whenever they
I
get
mean,
grape.
rape trials.
Yeah, grape.
It worked for Matthew Broderick in
Because you
Ireland.
were drunk.
Well, and also the cause of death was freezing to death, not like getting hit by a car. So it's like,
Yeah, there's an incident like actually pretty close to where I live, but it was this meth head and he was fleeing from the cops, like in a car fleeing, and they were chasing him. And the cop, like, I don't know, tried to make a maneuver or something, and he went off the road and flipped his car and he died. And that guy that was fleeing the cops, they charged him with like second-degree murder.
Mm-hmm.
And they fucking put him in the slammer. He went to jail for that. And
The
he like
cop?
didn't even hurt. No. The meth head that was fleeing.
Oh, okay.
He got, but like he didn't really do anything. Like he just was running away. He didn't kill the guy.
Yeah, it happens a lot. It's like if you're involved in a crime and in the commission of that crime somebody dies, even like if you and three buddies are breaking into a house and the first dude in the window gets shot and killed, like you're charged with his fucking murder.
Really?
yeah.
Or
It's
maybe I'm not being correct by saying murder, but yeah, you're charged with his death.
It's an accessory. It's an accessory charge that goes to the original
With that.
crime. That
And
as a result
if
of
it's
it,
like a capital offense, then you can be charged with whatever the other people did in the event of that capital charge. So everybody, it's like a blanket charge for everyone.
In some instances, it kind of makes sense, but like you were saying, Typo, it's like sometimes it's kind of like, I don't know, it's kind of a stretch, I guess, or it doesn't really seem fair. You know what I mean? Like, if that cop had just been a better fucking driver, you know what I mean? I mean, come on.
Yeah, there's actually
You don't know the intentions of everyone else involved. Like you were
Right.
not disclosed to everything that is happening, but you can still be charged with the same crimes as everyone else who committed those crimes.
I think it just comes
Yeah.
down to who do you like and whose side are you on going into it. Because if it's somebody you
Yeah, I
don't
mean,
like,
yeah.
who's
The meth head guy
starting
was,
this
like, hated in
wave,
the
yeah.
community, So
So like, if you start with the premise of like X wouldn't have happened if Y didn't precede it,
Right.
sure.
then you tack that on.
Yeah.
Well,
It's
and
like
there's
setting
lots
them-
of things that can be like a snowball effect. Like
I'm
you
not-
can set out to intentionally do this thing, but
Yeah.
all of these things happen because you did this first thing. So it's
Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean-
like if for instance, if you're driving in a car and you evade or something like that, and then all of a sudden you run over a pedestrian, it's not necessarily the evading, like the evading was part of the killing the pedestrian.
Yeah.
It's
Shit,
kinda
I feel
have to
like-
go together.
I feel like we need to have Tyler Yankee on so that he can explain to us in legal terms. Because accessory is not the correct term. I just can't think of the right term as far as like an add-on charge.
But then it would just turn into a rant about cycling.
Well, that's true. Nobody wants that. But like, it's actually surprising that Karen Reed got found not guilty. I think a lot of it's probably just due to the publicity that the story got, because to have the story end up with a dead cop in the town where that same police force is investigating that cop's death, and the person responsible, like it wouldn't have happened without her doing whatever. That is super shocking. That is so abnormal. Like for the first trial to be a mistrial and then the second one to be not guilty, like they just didn't have the evidence to say
that
like she murdered
was
him.
exactly responsible. Yes, because I feel like she would have been railroaded anywhere else, and she would have been found guilty.
But a lot of times, the reason why she's found not guilty is because she was overcharged. Like what Typo said, you would think it should have been manslaughter. But if you charge her with an
Murder.
excessive crime, you have to be able to definitively prove that. And you can't in that case, you just couldn't prove it because the cause of death was freezing to death. And so if they charged her with a lesser crime, she would have been found guilty on that.
Right.
But that's a case of the local PD or the local law establishment overcharging her because they were like, fuck this bitch. We're getting, that's one of ours. And they fucked themselves.
Anthony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
agree.
is that what happened with
Because
Casey Anthony?
I think that
They could have got her on a
knowingly,
lesser charge, probably.
like hit him. I think
yeah.
that she knowingly did that.
Yeah.
Because they were in a fight that night, and she even admits to that, and it was caught on video and all that shit. But
Yeah, without
you
video
can't
evidence
charge her with
of-
murder because she didn't kill him with hitting him with the car.
It wasn't her intent to kill him. Like that's where like degrees come in.
Right.
So it's the same thing that's going on in Minnesota now with that hitman, where they are undercharging him with second degree non-premeditated murder or manslaughter or whatever. And everybody's like, why are they going so light on it? It was obviously premeditated. He planned it out. He had a list with names and all this shit. It's because they don't want to start off. You can always add charges on. It's easy to add charges on when more evidence is uncovered throughout the investigation. But if you start off at the top, the likelihood, if as soon as you back off, it shows that there's a possibility, not a likelihood, but a possibility that he might not have done it at all.
He was not responsible for that. Yes.
Correct. So if you want to get a conviction, you undercharge and overprove. And then throughout the course of the investigation, because it's still going to be another year and a half before that goes to trial, you got 12 months to find things to add charges. And
that may not ever go to trial, though. Like,
I think he was a cleanup dude that
got caught.
I think
somebody
those cops weren't supposed to be
all
there.
Of that shit.
Yeah.
That was not.
Those cops rolling up were not supposed to do that, is what I'm thinking, because that's some. Remember when the guy dressed up as a FedEx driver and shot the judge a couple years ago? Like killed the judge and the husband, like I forget where.
Is in
New Jersey or some shit. And it turned out like she represented or was in a case with Deutsche Bank that was connected to Epstein or what, like the QAnon.com guys were drawing all the fucking connections. And then like he just drove down the road and killed himself.
How much?
That shit just goes away. This feels a lot like that.
How much, how much do you think they're actually right? The QAnon people.
Not zero. And
I'm still waiting for JFKG to come out of the bunker.
But I mean, just like.
I bet they are right more than you expect that they are, but less than they believe they are.
Well,
They're
I think
just
they're
as
right.
kooky so that you look retarded, and they're just right enough to keep people kooky.
Remember,
because I feel like they're like way out there, but then at the same time they're not.
we had these theories about Alex Jones. Like the reason Alex Jones was still allowed to do programming and stuff for so long was because even though he would say stuff that was spot on the nose, like got to the core of some of the crazy shit that goes on in this country, he also said enough off the wall, completely bizarre, kooky, dumb shit that's like, all right, like there's enough unbelievability about everything that he says that even when he does say something totally true, the spin masters can just be like, yeah, but I mean, are you really going to listen to the dude that also said they're making the frogs gay, except that the frogs are fucking gay, so here we are.
Well, his ability to call like every conspiracy theory out there, like he'll like just bring it up, talk about it a little bit, and then you can go back and be like, oh, Alex Jones talked about this, but he talked about like all conspiracy theory, like everything that was like in the market at the time that was coming
recently.
up.
And he may
was
not
talking.
have been wrong about all of that. It just may have been too soon because we may not actually know the truth yet.
When you want to believe,
Yeah.
you don't remember what they're wrong about. And when you're skeptical, you only remember what they're wrong about. It's kind of like watching the weather. They're right, I don't know, 30 out of 33
They're
days, but
never
you only
right.
remember those 3 days because it affected your plans or, something like that.
Yeah.
But when people are correct, it's just like, well, yeah, that's just what you're supposed to do. You're doing your job. But when you're wrong, it's like, oh, these motherfuckers are stupid, retarded idiots.
Yeah, that's why I think weather guys will oversell the weather. So they'll be like, "Oh, it's gonna be really bad," because if it's really bad, you'll be like, "Okay, the weather guy called this." But if it's like not that bad, you'll be like, you're not really that upset that you're just like, "Oh, I guess he got that one a little wrong." But if he was like, "It's gonna be bright and sunny day," and you like take your boat out and it fucking hails on you, like you're gonna remember that. You're gonna remember.
Well, and we also found out
There's gonna be guys dressing up as cops to go into Weatherman's house.
were y'all aware when they say like there's a 18% chance of rain? They don't mean that there's an 18% chance that it's going to rain. They mean there is a 100% chance that it's going to rain in 18% of the covered area. Yeah, we discovered that the hard way when like 4 days in a row, they're like, oh yeah, 13% chance of rain. And so I just like leave my windows down and leave the house.
And as we all know, 13% immediately turns to 50% without you even blinking an eye.
Every single day, if there's any percent chance of rain, this is the area in our covered area that is getting that percent, like that it has the 100%. Like we are,
but
always
it's never the percentage is never zero though. Like it's never 0% chance.
Sometimes it is zero.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Are they seeing the clouds over your house? You can get it pretty close to zero. Because if they're not,
sometimes my weather app will say 0 or it'll say 100, and I hate it when it says 100 and it doesn't rain. I'm like, you should only be able to say 99% or 1%. You shouldn't be able to say 0 or
just
100,
like fucking Lysol.
you know?
You're not killing all the germs.
Right.
They got taken to court to print that 99.9%. Let's not forget Johnson & Johnson knows what's up.
Because on those 100% days that it's not supposed to rain and I go water my garden and it does rain, I'm fucking pissed.
See? And you remember that. But Dag, talking about cloud seeding that I just brought up and forced into the conversation against everybody's will, Florida, did they actually pass that into law where it's like illegal to seed the clouds over Florida
last
skies?
I heard it was in the Senate. Now, here's something I haven't really talked about this on air. I talked about it in the group chat with you. You're in the group chat. It was really fucking with me for a while.
I check in once every 3 months.
I was never really a chemtrail like guy, you know what I mean? Like, okay, I could probably come up with easy explanations. I don't really know, whatever, you know. But I've really seen some weird shit out over me as far as the trails that planes leave.
Explain cloud seeding for Stephanie when you get done.
So, okay, so there's a couple schools of thought. One is that they're seeding clouds to create rain. The other is that they're trying to block solar energy, almost like to prevent global warming. Or
Justin,
I think
pull up the video of Ichumuku Kaku, Asian guy on the Today Show, like in 2012, openly
they
talking
talk about they want to do it. Bill Gates, etc., talks about he wants to put a chemical layer to block the sun. So anyhow, now here's what was really weird, dude. Is so when all that shit was in the news in Florida about them making what they call it, weather change, whatever, that kind of stuff illegal in Florida. Weather modification. There was not a fucking let's say whether they're chemtrails or they're just natural things that planes leave. There was not a goddamn one for 2 weeks after that shit was in the news. Not a single one in the fucking sky. And I had somebody pointed out to me. It was like 4 days after that happened. I was like, you know what? I think you're right, but I didn't. You know, that's when I started watching, and it was like almost another 2 weeks before they slowly started trickling back in. And that's what really fucked with me. Is how come when they was trying to make legislation against it, that shit just stopped. You know what I mean? Just long enough for you to tell all your friends and them go, you're crazy. There's nothing going on up there. And they start it back up again. But it's these clouds, they're up there and it just so slowly spreads and becomes like a haze that just covers the sky. Like they go by and they just slowly like a haze. Not like
crop dust them almost like.
Yeah. Right. It's not like when I was a kid, okay, you see the trail behind the plane, but it goes away like a few plane lengths later or whatever.
Yeah, that's a
and I'm sure somebody who's a scientist could tell me I'm wrong here, whatever. But like I've seen some really weird shit. Like I've seen planes flying that have a couple different types of like trails coming out of them that dissipate differently, and some last, some don't. And I'm like, it doesn't look like a passenger plane. You know, it's like a big fucking plane and it's up high. So I don't know, but it's kind of been fucking with me lately. Ultimately, there's nothing I can do about it. It's one of the things that's like you can't even like move away because they do it everywhere. You know, supposedly
they cloud seed in Dubai all the time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like, and they talk about that. They do it, you know, like officially in like over half the state. Even
that was funny.
Bring it up.
Yeah. That happened in Tasmania like a couple years ago. They cloud seeded, and then they got like a record flood like a day or two later. They're like,
Talk about it in
whoops.
the new movie Twisters.
They cloud
Oh,
seeded.
they were cloud seeding to help the farmers.
They cloud seeded in China before the what was it? 08.
Didn't we talk about the
Olympics?
episode of Tailspin in like the 90s where they were doing cloud seeding?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But no, straight up, like that Japanese science guy that's on all the modern science shows
I
or
say,
whatever.
Jim, I looked for the video and I don't think I found the one you were talking about. But when I saw this dude's hair, I had to pull up this video. So here we go.
It's probably him.
He's
Nope,
amazing.
that's not him.
No.
That's not him at all.
Regulating risky technologies like solar radiation management is an absolutely reasonable step for the state of Florida. But cloud seeding, unlike solar radiation management, is not blocking out the sun. It's not dimming the sun. It's a proven technology to enhance water supply with 70 years of safety data on the materials used. To deconflict our understanding of what cloud seeding is and what solar radiation management is, I'll just reiterate that cloud seeding, it's a technology that is regulated and deployed to farms, utilities, reservoirs throughout Utah, Texas, Idaho, Oregon, etc. And in all of those states, we have stringent regulations that we have to follow. We have to have licenses that
All right, this dude's boring. The
Michio.
hair was amazing, but everything else was like
They were doing cloud seeding. That's all we know.
Yeah, it's good info though, and he distinguished the two different things too: the cloud seeding versus the solar radiation. That's what I think is going on here: is the solar radiation management, or the opposite. I think they're actually trying to I think global warming is real, but they're covering for it by saying they're trying to prevent it, and they're making it worse to heat the earth up for the lizard people to come live here.
Lizard people.
Now we're
That's
on the
why
lizard.
Taylor,
Gotta make
that's
Wow.
why Taylor Lorenz is trying to. she's
Oh, yeah.
I feel like I'm related to lizard people. Have you met?
I found it, Justin. It's
Yeah,
Dr.
it's Basking
Michio
Rock.
Kaku.
That's it. That's the one. Yeah, Michio Kaku today. Yeah.
College of New York professor. Nice to see you. Extraordinary seeing Al Gore
I guess
and Bill
I'm
Clinton
the,
there together with Charlie, wasn't it?
That's Asian right, department guy
They
here.
did not get into
This is like 2014
but it is fascinating.
or some shit.
I mean, lasers really to change the weather?
That's right. Well, as Mark Twain once famously said,
space
everyone
lasers.
complains about the weather, but no one ever does anything about it. Well, instead of doing a rain dance, we physicists are firing trillion-watt lasers into the sky to actually precipitate rain clouds and actually bring down lightning bolts. This is potentially
What
a
could go
game
wrong?
changer.
But this is experimental.
It's experimental. However, in the laboratory so far, it works. When you have water vapor, you have dust particles or ice crystals, you can precipitate rain. It condenses around the seeds. These seeds can also be created by laser beams. By firing trillion-watt lasers, you rip apart the electrons, creating what are called ions, and these ions act like seeds, like dust particles, bringing down rain and even lightning. Go ahead.
Well, this fascinates me in part because, too, I remember reading the stories that China had used this during the Olympics, that the U.S.
Was this the one bitch that was like really confrontational to Trump?
She can be
Recently?
she can be confrontational with me. Those big,
Look at that
big blue
face.
eyes.
That's a bitty freeze frame right there.
Oh, dude. You would,
SSR
you
had
would not
used
wanna
this
do
She just
that.
caught you
Chernobyl
peeing in the
create
sink
rain
with that
clouds.
look.
I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive.
in the shower.
Even in the 60s, the
I don't know
CIA
what you're
used
talking about.
this to
Here's the
bring
important
down
part.
monsoons
Back it up
during
on.
the
Nobody does
Vietnam
that.
War. So watch-
He openly admits what we did during
The
Vietnam.
USSR had used this after Chernobyl to create rain clouds. I mean, did those really work then? We have some of these capabilities now?
Inconclusive. Even in the 60s, the CIA used this to bring down monsoons during the Vietnam War to wash out the Viet Cong.
Based.
That's
crazy. He just says that.
Alleged to, right?
Yeah.
Now, we realize that for decades now, these governments have been alleged
that's
to
what
have
my
experimented with weather
granddad
control,
had
but nothing
cancer.
conclusive. This time we're bringing in the laws of physics rather than simply waving our hands and uttering mumbo jumbo. We're actually using
Wow.
trillion-watt
Talking mad shit about the Indians there, fella.
controlling weather. Why is this on the news? That's ridiculous.
Pre-Trump. This was like 2014, 2012, some shit like that, when
Yeah.
nobody was watching the Today Show except for stay-at-home wine moms. And they were just like, honey, they're shooting lasers and I don't know, fucking
I'm not
rainy.
even a stay-at-home.
That's
mom.
great, honey. I'm gonna go play
Wish
golf.
I was.
Yeah, everybody else was
Yeah.
busy at work.
Justin.
The internet wasn't what it is
I
today.
need
No
to
one,
be a
no one was paying
stay-at-home
attention.
Wine mom.
Drink too much
Well,
wine as it
we
is.
need stay-at-home wine moms to be better at their job. You're falling asleep at the post. We're calling you in
I'm
next.
actually good at my job. Thank you very much.
Not your actual job, dear.
No, like my job at home, I do dishes and laundry.
Do you shoot lasers at them and make lightning happen?
But I will.
No,
I have no doubt.
If I have
Watches the Tide Pods dissipate from my lasers.
My lasers.
But yeah, so that video started making the rounds when Marjorie Taylor Greene said Jewish space lasers, and everybody lost their shit. Like, what a kooky bitch! And it's like, well, yeah, you can be a kooky bitch and still be right. Ergo, our Alex Jones conversation a minute ago.
Dag just disappeared. I thought Dag played us a video one day of a farmer somewhere in Oklahoma or Texas that they have like a
Had a lot of fertilizer, put it in a moving truck, and put it in front of a big. Go ahead.
No, not that guy. The other one.
The hail cannon.
Yeah, the hail cannon. The one that like they basically like notify the local authorities, hey, we're about to fire this thing off, and then it like causes it to rain.
Or it breaks up the hail because they're farmers. So like this particular instance, they were an apple farmer, and because obviously a hailstorm just will destroy any crop. It's probably about the worst thing that can happen to a big vegetable farmer. So they have this thing, and from what I was reading, there's varying opinions on whether or not this works, but enough people do it, and it fires like a sonic ring up into boom up into the air, and supposedly breaks up the cloud somehow so it doesn't hail.
Yeah, ice harms American agriculture, whether it comes from the sky or from the federal building.
Yeah, either by damage or labor. Yeah, one of the two. Yeah.
Yeah, both are intentional. That's all I'm saying. Somebody's making it happen. Somebody's making the call. I don't know if we could do weather modification. Why the fuck are we still having tornadoes and shit?
Revocation.
Well, that's because the people that live in those tornado areas are the people they're trying to get rid of. You see, they want the carbon they want to reduce is us.
I mean, I hear that, but they're moving Tornado Alley east.
Oh, trust me, I know.
I'm at. Dude, I'm in it now. It's like
speaking of speaking of ice, Stephanie, tell them what's going on with your work, folks.
Okay, so, we had
Did you
people
report
that
them?
were
Yes.
no.
Them the motherfuckers right there.
That is not what happened. Okay, so we had people whose work authorization.
Stephanie, Karen
were up
Reed just
until-
got off on much worse. You're fine. You can be honest here.
Be quiet and listen to me for 5 seconds. So we had people whose work authorizations were up to 2026 or 2028, whatever. So one of them brought in a document and said their work authorization had been revoked because Trump passed this new law that work authorizations, their parole was not being extended. So even if their work authorization said it had been gone out to 2026, it was revoked right now. So we have numerous people who can no longer work for us, even though their work authorization said they can work for us for 2026. It's being revoked right now. So they were sent a letter that said, we will give you $1,000 and a plane ticket to self-deport to your home country.
Yes.
And if you don't, then we will deport you anyway.
Oh, that's
so
awesome.
Yeah. And
Here's your option.
But how
Here's your
many
option.
days
You
they,
can-
they give?
Here's your options. You can take $1,000.
I'm not even sure how many days they gave them, but it was just your work authorization is revoked. You can no longer work in the United States, and you can either
Hey, pull this up.
self-deport or we
stay-
will deport you.
Stay here no more.
it's not a.
$1,000. You go home, or you stay, or if you stay, we deport you anyway.
I got the phone number here if you want to expedite the process.
Yeah, I mean, we just like Amazon Prime, we like shit happen the next day.
Well,
That's the expectation now.
these are some of my best workers, though. They come to work every day.
They're some of your best workers so far.
Yeah, you gotta be glass half full.
These American workers that are young do not come to work. They don't want to work. They're like, oh,
Well, when they start
this is
missing,
too hard for me.
when they start missing the services that are no longer provided,
And-
their level of care will increase.
Can I ask how much these workers are paid?
Well, it is $19.50 for day shift and $20.50 for night shift. So they're getting paid fair wages.
Yeah, I was just.
Yeah, I mean that's basically 40 grand a year,
Yeah.
not counting any overtime. just
And they're working
standard.
a lot of overtime. I can already tell you that.
And then Trump gives them no tax on overtime, and then boots them out. What a meanie! They really had an opportunity to build a hacienda buku in Mexico, and
They should have filed for their work visa or citizenship or something. They
It's-
had plenty of time.
it's kind of
They've had
I
2 to 3 years to file for these things, and they never did.
I think that strategy, it's really dumb. Like what you're doing, you're just pushing those people to work informally now, because you didn't get rid of all the informal workers, and you're going after the ones that you can get.
Well, if they had
Well-
their work visas that are still current, I mean, if I heard her story right, then yeah, it seems silly to go after ones who are quote unquote doing it legally, being here where they're allowed to be because they have said visas, but I don't expect government to do anything correctly or efficiently, so it's not shocking.
unless you agree with it, then it's fucking
They're-
awesome.
They are not going after the right people.
Yeah, I'm biased on this. I was raised by
would be the
Border
right
Patrol. I was raised by Border Patrol agents.
British
so
people.
I've got a good friend who's a
different.
border patrol agent. I want him to be safe and not be doing stupid shit and not be wasting his time and be effective.
Yeah, around here, they're definitely not going after the right people.
Where do you live?
Why aren't we deporting any British people? Why are there British
That's what I'm
people here?
saying.
Why do we
Well,
allow
we owe
that?
'em-
I'm
we still
like
owe
not
'em-
even joking.
Because we owe them money and we don't owe Mexico a single peso.
From where was the TikToker guy that was invited to leave?
Oh, the African guy that always just does
Senegal.
Oh.
Invited to leave?
Yeah.
Right this way, sir.
Yeah.
You get a one-way invitation.
Damn, not even TikToker. Not even if you're a meme do you get to stay in Trump's America.
Wait.
No.
I have Mexican friends who are mad about the deportation or whatever, but I was like, how are you mad?
See,
To me,
it's
the-
weird.
Yeah.
I have Mexican friends that are probably cheering it on more than white people.
Mhm.
And it's pretty crazy because, I was in the Marine Corps, so, I know this guy. He literally, he grew up on the Texas side of El Paso, Texas, right? And he's probably get them all out. He's even their children,
He's
in
seen
the
a lot of
women
that
and the children
firsthand.
too. And I'm
Ariel,
like,
what's
oh
the
my God,
Spanish
dude.
word for based?
I don't know
Shit.
what I would use in.
Why do you
based.
ask him what the Portuguese word for this stuff is?
Well,
because we don't care about
But
speaking
even-
Portuguese. We want to
Because
speak
even in
Spanish.
that's because that's the kind of word that is it's trending now. So people use it in English here and in Brazil as well.
oh fuck, that's right.
Oh,
Dominant language. Damn us, damn us, damn us.
our conquest of
But
language.
I would
our
like if
conquest of languages.
Whoa,
if,
shit.
if I was saying
Bird just hit my window.
something like that a few
Oh.
years ago in Portuguese, I would say ponta firme.
That wasn't a bird. It was a government drone. You might want to unlock your doors.
Birds aren't real.
There are no such thing as
They're
birds.
attacking you.
They're honing in on us.
If there was,
Birds aren't
it
real.
would have hit me. It would have hit me if there was not glass here.
Yeah.
That would have made better podcasting.
But going back to what
I already
Tycho was-
got.
That was MI6, dude. You can't be talking shit about the British, bro. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. See how quickly they respond? They're very effective. I don't know what all this inefficiency is all about.
Bad tea, but they're very prompt.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Excuse me. I thought I heard something in here.
Do you have a license for that speech?
But going back to what Typo was saying, I work in the horticulture industry, aka landscape, in the greater Atlanta area. And I've worked with countless Hispanics, some fully legal, been here since the 70s and brought their whole family and, great guys and all that. Some literally crossed the border 2 months earlier, still great guys.
The welfare.
Did great work, outworked everybody. And then I've seen second gen immigrants that were lazier than Americans, and I've seen it all. I've seen the naturalized citizens that fucking hate and despised everybody in the yard that they knew jumped the fence. I've never seen anybody jump the fence, say, actually, that guy that did it right is like someone to look up to. They always undercut him. They always talk shit about him. They always try to steal overtime from him. So there's a natural, like, one thing that I got a crash course education in is the differences between cultures of the Central American nationalities. Once they cross the American border, they become, I don't know, Ariel, I don't know how it is in actual Central and South America, but I know once they leave their home country and come up here, it becomes immediate tribalism, where when there's only 5 of them, they all group together. When there's 15 or 50 of them, they start siphoning off, and they start fucking, like the El Salvadorians tell the Guatemalans to fuck off. And
okay.
Didn't we already determine that the Guatemalans are the Mexicans of Mexico?
I think that's what we said.
I have noticed that there is a divide between the nationalities, so it doesn't matter. Like, if you come from South America, like, it matters which place you come from South America.
Yeah.
Here, they're mostly Cuban, Puerto Rican, or Mexican, and it's funny hearing like the Puerto Ricans like, those damn Cubans are filthy animals. I'm like, oh, fuck.
Or like the Cubans talking shit about the Puerto Ricans, and the Puerto Ricans talking shit about the Dominicans.
And that battle pretty much any day.
I thought you used to work with a Puerto Rican and a Dominican, and
They don't mix. They don't. No.
But it was only from one side. Like, one side hated the other one, but the other one was totally fine with, what was it? The Puerto Rican didn't like the Dominican, but the Dominican didn't care and liked the Puerto Rican. And so she would like try to invite the Puerto Rican to stuff. And Stephanie had to be like, she doesn't like you. Like, she doesn't like Dominicans. Like, it's not like, she's not going to show up. She's not going to like participate in this stuff with you because she doesn't like your people. Like, we're all Hispanic. Like, not to her.
See, and the real lesson here, Justin, is so that us white folk can get over our internal racism and let them all come up here and then fight out, if you want to call it that, but figure out their differences while we pay them money and don't worry about them.
Okay, like, I feel like, at least for the most part, white people all kind of like unify under being white people. Like, we may have some certain like white people
these days.
There's a lot.
I would say now
umbrellas under
like 100.
You used to be Polish or German or what? Irish,
Where did the Polak jokes go?
Native American.
We're all just white now.
Like, I mean, there's
that was
like white people.
I mean, I don't want to get too crazy, but that was like literally socially engineered out of Americans. Like that.
Yeah.
Those ethnic differences amongst white people.
It was a big part of public school.
We are not the same white.
I want the Irish and Italians to fight again.
So
public school is supposed to de-Catholicize a bunch of us.
So a lot of the like white differences have gone away, but like the differences between different Hispanic peoples, like she's gonna laugh at me and make fun of me. The game that I play a bunch, there's a lot of Asians that play. And the just blatant racism from the Koreans, the blatant racism from the Koreans towards everybody who's not Korean, like especially the Chinese, it's fucking insane.
Especially the Chinese.
The white
Japanese, Korean.
I was stationed
They're not
in
the
Japan.
same. Don't you lump them together?
These people hate each other more. I was so shocked.
I work for a Japanese company. Don't you dare lump them together.
Me. Sometimes. Until someone else outdoes me.
Yeah, quiet you, Moon Weon.
See, the whites of Western Europe, the whites
That's
of
the Korean
Western
slur
Europe.
for anybody that's not Korean.
the whites of Western Europe mongoloided themselves already because we have
Mongoloid.
been here long enough.
Mongoloid.
Yes,
That's a racist term too.
that's a verb.
It's a racist
You had the
term.
Scots and the Irish and the Italians and the French and the Germans and the British and or the English,
all
whatever.
the white people.
All getting together all throughout the 19th century, so that once we entered the 20th century, they had a collective enemy, and that was all white people, because you couldn't segment them off to, Little Italy was little for a reason. Italians
White
didn't.
people are the enemy. We're all the enemy.
That's my
all
point.
white people. Enemy.
That's my point, because we collectivized by seeing common traits amongst each other, and we got over our,
and we're
geographical
becoming
differences
a
in Europe.
minority.
Well,
I
it
think
also
becoming a
helped
minority in our own
that-
country kind of changes things. But
100%.
like 100 years ago, like being considered, like I don't think a white person 100 years ago would say I am white. They would say I am German, I am Italian,
Correct.
I am Irish.
Unless you were like Anglo or something.
Yeah, and that kind of changed.
Say,
But they
Stephanie-
like
I'm like multi.
Yeah,
though.
Stephanie's
Like,
problem
I'm like-
is all of the whitest people on the planet, they all combine to create her. Like her 23andMe
I'm
is
like
just
damn
like
you,
all
German, Irish, Native American.
you're mixed race, okay?
I mean, like, if there was ever a mixed race, that was
Mongoloided each other out of
Yeah.
The 1800s
But they
were a
don't
busy
like
time.
they don't like.
But this was actually forced on us at that time too. So like if you were there was Germans were like a huge population here, and they were actually scared that Germans were gonna have so much influence that when World War I kicked off, they like stomped out German culture. Like they,
Wasn't it like the second most spoken language at the time
I
too?
am German,
Yes.
and I am
Yeah, it was-
also Irish
And
and Jewish. I am also a Jew.
Oh, I'm
Oh,
out.
where's the sounder?
Hooter.
Justin, click the sounder for what? Dag, don't you have some like video screen
he
clip that
said
comes up?
you're
and-
gonna kick me out because I'm also Jewish.
Maybe I've been trying to end this conversation for the past 5 minutes and play a game.
I'm standing back here going, shh, shh, stop. She just kept going. I knew she was gonna get there.
Is it from your mom's side or dad's side? Because
Look who's just pulling the chains, the pull starter.
I can't help it.
Well, yeah, obviously, but
See, now we have to include you in the the ones that we want to get.
Oh, and the other
Florida.
things.
Yeah, there's a debate if Jews are white. So I don't really know, but sometimes they are, sometimes they aren't. It depends who you're asking.
I am a white Jew. I'm
According-
not a brown Jew.
According to all my friends off Cascade Road, Jews are white.
I am a white Jew. I am not a brown Jew. Okay, thank you
I
very
don't
much.
really know the difference.
Well, you don't
I
look
don't think
Ethiopian
I
to
do
me.
either.
Burn in the sun and brown Jews do not.
When it's like to their advantage, they'll say white, but then when like arrows are getting thrown at white people, they pull out that, well, I'm actually Jewish, you know?
Yeah, that's
Play them cards if you got them.
Is Dag sharing his screen right now? Is this his
Yes.
protest sign?
Well, no,
Yeah,
I got a game we were gonna play whenever you guys are done.
Let's play.
Boring conversation.
Dag,
I
we're
got- all right.
solving the racial divide in America. We're gonna come out stronger for this.
Did you want to share something first, Jay?
No, I'm good, dude.
Okay.
Good.
Okay, so I'm gonna just before we start, I'm gonna read a fun fact with the date, and then we'll get it. It's really easy. I'll explain as we go. So here's the first fun fact. On the first episode of Who's the Biggest Autistic Know-It-All? The first casino in Atlantic City, New Jersey opens. It is the United States' first legal casino outside of Nevada. That happened in 1978. Fun, right? Okay. So now, Justin, you're going to be up first. I'm going to read another fun fact. You don't have to know what year it happened. You just have to tell me if it happened before or after 1978. Okay?
Wow.
And if you don't get it, we'll move on to the next person. All right. And no using your phones, guys. Come on. We're not cheating on this. All right. We're good, honest white men. So,
I don't know. Watch Justin's girlfriend, dude.
Yeah. Western Union sends its last telegram. Did that happen before or after 1978?
After.
Stephanie, it's my question. I was gonna go with after.
Sorry, there's non-whites in the area. I gotta mute myself for a minute.
You are correct. It is after. It was
Wow.
2006.
What?
I was
Yeah,
right.
apparently so.
I was
You were right.
It wasn't your question.
So Justin gets a point. All right. And now it's going to be Trey up next. And Trey, I'm going to read another fun fact. And you have to tell me if it happened where in that timeline, before 1978, in between 1978 and 2006, or after 2006.
Ooh,
all right.
Oh, wow.
And then we go like this. You guys get it? Pretty simple, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. German nobles elect Lothair III, the King of Germany. This is the first time that a vote and not bloodline determines the German king.
So is it before?
Trick question is
between-
Chancellor.
Yeah, it would be
It's
before, in
Before.
between, or after. That's
before.
very correct.
Yeah.
1125.
I was gonna say.
Point for Trey. So there you go. So then we start building this timeline, and then it gets a little tricky.
Yeah.
All right. I got Sam up next. You there, Samuel?
Yeah.
So I don't mean to call you Sam if you hate that or something. I'll call you Samuel.
I don't care.
Okay, cool. Then I'll call you Sam. The Nintendo Kapai Company is founded in Japan. It manufactures playing cards and will later become synonymous with video game systems.
That's going to be before 1978 and after 1125.
That's correct. That's actually a surprising date, though. 1889.
What? Damn.
Yeah.
I would have never guessed that.
Who knew Reconstruction?
I knew that, actually.
Wow.
Really?
It's as old as Washington State. That's the same year Washington State was founded. So I happen to know that one.
Justin, where's the more you know sounder? That's fucking amazing.
The more.
Oh, yeah. I figured we'd get a good chance to use that one this time. Very nice.
You
guys are killing it. I was even thinking we got to have that one ready for this. Maybe next one I'll actually come up with the facts and they can be good, racist, and dirty facts. This is just from this game I have, so they're just fun, regular facts.
No need to apologize. This is great.
It's a test round. All right, Magoo, this one's for you, buddy. Independence Day officially becomes a paid federal holiday in the United States.
Between 1889 and 78.
That is correct, buddy. 1938.
Yeah.
You guys are too fucking smart.
I know my
FDR with the free money.
Yeah.
We got this calendar. It's all empty and shit.
Oh, like Trump the other day, it was funny. He's like, we have too many federal holidays.
Oh yeah.
Fucking men.
Because of
Dude, I went to the
don't wanna
bank to get a new fucking debit card and they were closed because of Juneteenth. I was fucking pissed, dude.
I don't want to repeat what these old guys at my job said, but they did ask me, is yesterday for the homos or the blacks? That's not exactly what you said.
Why not both?
But I was like, today's for the blacks, the month's for the gays.
And if you time it just right, it's for RuPaul around noon on the 19th.
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Once I hypnotize you, you will forget that you were ever gay. I wasn't gay.
Exactly.
It worked.
Oh shit! All right, Ariel, you're up.
Let's go.
All right, world-renowned lover Giacomo Casanova bequeaths his autobiography to his nephew. It is later published as The Story of My Life. World-renowned lover Casanova.
After 1125, before 1889.
God damn, dude, you're good.
We are too fucking autistic for this game, Dag.
Dude, I know this is crazy.
Dude, I would've
Usually when
lost
I play with people, I crush them.
Yeah, I would have had no fucking clue.
Yeah, I wouldn't have
Good job, Ariel. That was
Yeah,
that's probably the most
Ariel has
impressive.
spent a lot of time studying the life of Casanova.
That's probably the most impressive since Sam. Got to be honest.
He was nervous because he's not American. When we were talking about playing this, he's like, "Oh, I don't know if I'm going to get a lot of these." I was like, "Well, I think you'll do fine. I think you'll do all right."
Better than anything I could do.
Yeah, Casanova, he was real. What?
I thought that was some bullshit made it from the Hallmark Channel.
The only Casanova I know about is Casanova Frankenstein from Mystery Men.
Oh fuck!
I thought Casanova
All right, typo.
was like a Mopar part that went on the Nova.
Do I need to go get?
Isn't that? I thought they stole those because of all the copper.
Yeah. Daggum catalytic converter.
Oh, we were talking about that before the show too.
No.
The
They always
EPA
have the best
create
content before
criminals.
the show.
There, I said it. No need for a
Yeah?
catalytic converter.
Well, it's Toyota didn't make them so damn easy to steal. It's their fault.
See, Jack, the real winner of who's the biggest autist is the one who can branch us off into the most autistic sidebar conversation about nothing.
Yeah.
Well, I'm hoping that some of these questions will lead to that. So it's not just this stupid game. It's got to be a framing device for fun conversation. So go nuts, guys.
I know, but I'm kind of autistic that I'm so into this game now.
See, my autism falls within the bounds of following rules explicitly.
Yeah.
Seriously, guys, it's called Chronology. It's a fucking amazing game. It's really fun.
Dude,
if you
this
get a
is
group of
awesome.
people.
I've never heard
Family
of it.
friendly. But each person would have their own timeline if we were all playing like in the same room. So you work on your, and then whoever gets 10 first like wins. But I think that this way works fine with a group of people. We're not all together, I think.
Dude, I'm ordering this on Amazon right now.
Dude, you should. It's awesome. All right, typo.
All right, let's do it.
You're gonna know this one, maybe. Eli Whitney invents the cotton gin. It quickly separates cotton fibers from seeds. When did your family sell their merchandise?
I'll say this is between 1798 and 1889.
I'm sorry, buddy. That is incorrect.
Fuck.
That is incorrect.
When
We're
is
going to
it?
move on to Jay Forte. Same question. Eli Whitney invents the cotton gin. Where's that bad boy go? You there, Jay?
Prior to 1798.
No, sir.
That is
No.
correct.
After-
way.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
You were I know that was a tough one because they were so close. It was 1793.
Oh, did I say 1978? God damn it. Yeah, I'm dyslexic. Yeah, I'm wrong.
I thought
got
you
it.
said
Yeah.
1790. Maybe I heard
Yeah,
you
you
say
did. No, you said.
1978.
No, he said.
Yeah,
it.
no, you said it
You said it right, Jay.
Okay. Well, it's the same
Oh,
numbers.
okay.
So I'm like, am I dyslexic too? And I heard 1798 when you said 1978, and you're dyslexic bounce off of me.
Oh my God.
They were all like, surely to God he wouldn't say 1978 about Eli Whitney and the cotton gin. Like we didn't even have slaves by then. Like
My sixth grade teacher would be kicking me in the nuts. You
Yeah,
didn't pay attention.
seriously.
I thought for sure it was in the 1800s.
No.
Well, then what's all those arguments I've been making to my black friends that industrialization would have naturally killed off slavery? Am I a liar?
I mean, partially. Like part of it. Was,
technology.
Yeah, something still had to pick the cotton. That's the
That's
thing.
right. Technology didn't move as fast at that point. So, like, you've got the cotton gin, but you're still another 100 years away from like the automatic
mechanized,
the tractor and
Yeah.
the mechanized picking machines and stuff. So actually,
Eli Whitney just wasn't fast enough. He was
Yeah.
on black
Yeah.
people time. I got it.
If he was faster, we could have avoided a war. That piece of shit.
I know, right? Like,
Yeah.
if he had
Eli
just thought-
Whitney is the
if instead
Adolf
of thinking
Hitler
about
of-
what's the most efficient way to process the cotton, he had thought about what's the most efficient way to get it out of the field.
I think he was
Avoided
holding
everything.
back on us. I think he manipulated the Civil
He was
War.
like,
that's
nah,
the new. That's
he was
the
like,
new
nah, fuck
conspiracy.
them. They can stay in the field. They're not as smart as me.
Let's find a way to turn the.
Well, maybe he was trying to, but he was up against the slave lobby, so.
Yeah, they had self-interest too. Those Uncle
Always the
Toms are
lobbyist, man.
powerful. Those
The only
those
thing that
unks.
stopped John
those
Deere from being created 120 years earlier was the slave lobby, like keeping them held down. Like, hell no, you're not mechanizing that shit.
You ain't making no
they were like,
robots
no,
take
dude.
away my inwards.
Peanut butter's not going to sound that great if it's created by a free man. Like, just hang on for a minute.
The Illuminati. That was the whole.
I don't even know when
plan.
peanut butter was invented. I'm just going off pure racist history.
Grover Cleveland invented it, but he needed to bring the black man into the fold, so they made up the whole lie about George Washington Carver inventing it.
I just love the idea of the fact that it's like, man, this is great. What if I didn't have to chew it to get this?
What if I could spread it on corn pone? All right, Jay. You're next in the rotation, so even though you got that last one, you get to go again. So you might get to double
snake
up on this one.
rules.
Yeah, buddy. Serfs are officially emancipated in Russia and granted their full rights as citizens. Serfs officially emancipated in Russia.
Fuck me running, because this is going to be tricky.
This actually gets tougher the further into the game we get.
Yeah. When you get more dates, when there's only table, it's pretty easy. But when they start getting close together,
it's kind of like
it gets real tough.
It's like when you get the first 2 to 3 picks in the fantasy draft, you're going to come home with like a Justin Jefferson, or similar. But then when you're like pick 12, you're like, do I go running back yet?
Well, there was the revolution that failed after that, but the tiny hats started.
Were they even wearing hats at this point?
No, but they were pretending to be farmers, but they were sitting on the land, and never mind. Anyway, that's a rabbit hole. Fuck me running.
Someone's been listening to Pete's podcast.
I got to go prior to 1889, maybe. Yeah, let's do that. Between
1798 and 1889. Good job, buddy. 1861.
Yeah, I was thinking about the 1905 revolution.
We should invite Pete in for one of these.
Oh, Pete would destroy it.
He'd probably kill it.
Yeah, we're trying to have fun here.
Yeah, I want to win.
Well, he'd be the biggest autistic.
That's true.
Yeah, nobody invites Mark McGuire to a home run derby in 1997. I got you.
Yeah.
Or we could do what Justin did the one morning. If nobody else wants to talk, we'll just bring on Jason and Cryptos, and they'll just take over the show.
Yeah.
Oh, the Canadian guys? That was good though, dude. I like those dudes.
I like
the Canadian guy.
Yeah,
he had a good. His train of thought there was nice. I liked it.
They're gonna make great 51st staters.
Oh yeah, one of them was Australian and one of them was Canadian that day.
Well,
talking about the Canada stuff.
The Australian one is from Canada. He moved there.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Oh, I got you.
Even the defectors will still be 51st staters. It's okay.
Yeah.
They can't get away from it. Yeah. Our reach is long.
That's right. Melbourne's going to be a territory. Melbourne, Australia.
Stephanie got really mad about our cotton picking jokes and told me to sleep in the garage.
Oh no.
You're welcome, Justin.
She left and said you can sleep in the garage. Apparently the cotton picking jokes were really offended her.
Those were lame or not.
Those
lame,
were the
mild.
weakest. We could have done so much better.
I know.
She said more offensive shit.
Right?
She is the HR person, in fairness. So
appearances.
Well, I thought
HR always
it's because of Nadia, except that Nadia is more racist than everybody in the fucking house. So it doesn't even work.
Wasn't she the one that was selling N-word passes at school?
Yeah,
right. Correct. Yeah.
I love it.
Dude, that's fucking genius.
Yeah, I know the capitalist in me has.
No.
Never mind. I'm not going to say what I'm about to
Genius
say.
is she was selling N-word passes at school and then turning kids in for saying the N-word. So
Does she get a reward for turning them in?
I don't know.
Because if she's getting paid on both fronts, that's hella cool.
I'm not sure how
That's like a self-licking popsicle.
Harriet
I'm not sure
Thugman.
exactly how that works.
Fuck yeah, dude.
Oh, Harriet Thugman! Hell yeah!
I don't know exactly how that works. I just know she was selling the N-word passes and then turning around and turning people in for saying the N-word. So,
Dude, there's no way her friends aren't calling her Harriet Thugman. Come on now.
Awesome. That's awesome. Oh man, that's got to be like a. I need to make that like my screen name somewhere. Full of Clyde. All right, Justin. Now that you can answer by yourself without your genius wife helping you, Gertrude Ederell. The name isn't important. Gertrude Ederell becomes the first woman to swim the English Channel. She beats the men's record
She's got a
by
dick.
1 hour and 59 minutes. I know, it's crazy. I don't believe it
because
already.
boobs are made of fat and they float better.
Yeah, she's extra buoyant. The first woman to swim the English Channel, and she beat the men's record by 1 hour and 59 minutes.
I feel like this was between 1938 and 1978. I think it was in the 60s sometimes, but I might be.
Final answer. No. Yep, that was your final answer. Incorrect.
Damn.
Incorrect. Not between 1938 and 1978. Trey, what's your guess, buddy boy?
You said swim the English Channel?
Yeah.
Okay. That
Justin
would be.
said there. It's not there.
He said where?
He said between 1938 and 1978.
No.
First woman to swim the English Channel. And beat the pants off them old men. Beat the giant oversized swim trunks off those old men.
They were wearing onesies.
Yeah, who's skippers?
Between 1861 and 1889.
Oh, that is incorrect. That is incorrect. Sam, what you got?
I'm going to go between 1889 and 1938.
You got it. 1926.
What? I knew there was
Sounded
a sick
like
fucking autism.
Sounded like
dyslexia.
some kind of old timey early 1920s bullshit that they'd be so happy about when they didn't have TV.
After all the capable men died in World War One, she fucking.
I also want to float out another theory here.
Hey,
what if
it's
it was a man in
tiring.
drag?
It's tiring.
She beat the man's record by almost 2 hours. This is the first trans athlete.
Hey, it's tiring dancing the Charleston alone.
Yeah.
You look for other hobbies.
What's the current record? Was what I want to know. Like, who's the current record holder?
Probably some Somalian.
It's probably some Somalian.
No, they don't get time.
Somalian swimming? Like what?
No, dude, they're too busy sniffing wine or some shit.
Dude, black
might have my
people
words
cannot
wrong.
swim. I know this from experience.
Oh my gosh! Did you see the video
He's thrown so many of them in the
Twitter?
river.
There was of the guy that it was the first person to ever compete in the freestyle swimming event in the Olympics, like because they didn't have water in his country.
He was
and
just splashing hard as
he had
shit.
he practiced for like 3 weeks in a hotel.
Oh,
swimming
I've
pool.
seen that.
And
I've
so,
seen that.
Pull it
It's
up,
really
pull it up,
bad.
pull it up.
It's so bad.
The people that he's swimming against in his heat, like jump in early and false start so that he can just swim and get his like country's record.
Justin,
I thought like 2/3 of the way through this motherfucker was going to drown.
Justin, pull up the video so we can
Did
see
you-
what it would look like for the first guy swimming the channel between South Cape and whatever the fuck is out there.
That guy became the
Also because
the
I gotta
country's
take a piss.
president after that.
Are you shitting me?
That's badass,
No,
dude.
he's peeing.
Is this a joke or is this a fact?
It's a
both.
fact. Like
It's a fact and a joke.
he became a president, and then he established the sports department, like the the governmental sport department.
sick.
And
Was
now
its
they
motto
have
never again?
they have a swimming program there.
Dag, who's up next?
Trey, you are up next.
All right, I'm gonna take a quick minute or two. I gotta go swim my own channel.
Yeah. Do your thing. If we get to you, we'll hold up. All right, Trey. Log Cabin brand syrup is introduced. Log Cabin brand syrup is introduced.
And is it also as gay as log cabin Republicans?
Between 1125 and 1793.
That is incorrect. Sam, you got a guess on this one, buddy? Log Cabin brand syrup is introduced.
I'm
I
going
have
to go
no frame of reference
between
for that.
1861 and 1889.
God damn, son! 1887.
Damn.
I guess makes sense after the after the Civil War.
Uncle Tom's Log
What was
Cabin
it?
syrup.
Yeah.
Was that someone had a joke where it was like, I think A1 steak sauce was founded in 18
During the Civil War.
Yeah, and it's like, you know what this country needs right now? Steak sauce.
They were all living on rancid squirrel meat. That's why you needed something to cover that shit up. You guys know what the main ingredient in A1 sauce is? Raisin paste.
Oh.
Oh yeah, I forgot. I've read that. Yeah.
It sounds odd, but when you think about the taste, I guess kind of makes sense.
I do like
you
raisins.
Do taste the raisins.
Yeah. Taste the rainbow raisins. Sam, you're up again, and also Sam's in the lead with 3. Possibly to be in the lead with 4 here in a second, because he's crushing it yet again.
Shit.
All right. Galileo views Jupiter through a telescope and discovers 4 of its moons. They are known as Galilean satellites.
I'm going to fuck this up. I want to say it's between 1125 and 1793.
Yeah, dude. 1610.
I feel like that should be an easy one, right? Like that's one you would actually learn about in school.
I probably would have guessed before 1125 because I had no idea when Galileo was alive.
No, Galileo was like just after the medieval.
Galileo's a real person?
Oh, is that spaceship? All right, so we'll recap for a second while we wait for Magoo. He's up next. Sam, you got 4. Jay has 2 in second place. And then everybody else, except for Typo, has 1.
Fuck. So I'm like the biggest retard.
Not yet.
You got any questions about satcoms or firing, shooting?
Yeah.
I don't think so.
My knowledge is like the 19th and 20th century, and anything before that, I'm basically retarded.
We can watch The Biggest Retard. It
Like
was
going across a crosswalk when the light turns green.
It was literally the slowest time ever recorded at the Olympics.
So is that what like dive school was like, Typo? Did you have to do dive school?
I didn't have to do dive school, but in the Marine Corps, we do have like a swim qual because we're part of the Navy. So just in case, it's usually training for like if the ship gets hit and we're jumping over into the ocean and we got to like fucking make sure we can like stay alive long enough before the rescue boats come. And like I really didn't know much about stereotypes, like black people couldn't swim. Like I didn't know that was a thing, never even really heard it, because I didn't really grow up around black people, so like I never even heard that before in my life. And all the black dudes in my platoon failed on the first try. Don't get me wrong, there's some white guys too, a few Mexican guys, but every single black guy failed the very first day. And the drill instructors even told us that before. He was like, "You're gonna fail. You're gonna fail." And like he was just pointing to all the black guys. Like, all of you guys are and they did, dude. It was crazy. I was like, dude, can black people really not swim? Like I thought that I never heard that before. Like you don't have pools, you don't have lakes. Like what the fuck? Dude?
Yeah, but we're not going from end to end. We're there to catch bitches. And
Say in the summer we would have football camp, and at football camp there was a big pool, and none of the black kids on the team got out of the shallow end. Like if it was anything like deeper than like up to their nipples, they were freaking out and going back to the other way, like going back to the other end. All the white kids are down in the deep end, like dunking each other and actually swimming, and all of the black kids are in the shallow end, like up to their waist, just like standing around.
They naturally segregate.
Yeah,
they're used to fire hydrant swimming.
Dag, may I make a minor but very autistic request since this is within the character of the game we're playing?
Go for it.
Could you please make the size of the years bigger? You could also make the header bigger, but just like make it. There's a lot of numbers, and gotta.
Yeah, no, I was playing earlier trying to find the right size. Is that better, or you want bigger?
Keep it going. We can even have multiple lines eventually. If
you would get wacky, just change the font.
Perfect.
Get wacky, change the font.
Maybe if we could get like green, green color, like letter numbers.
It's June. Make every year a different color.
Well, that'll
color coded by century.
That would be bad for Justin because he's colorblind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
leave it like this.
That's why pride's never been a big issue for Justin. He's like, I don't know what the fuck all the big deal is. Why is everybody waving these flags of black
All
and
this
white
gr-
colors?
Yeah, all this
Why are all
great
the-
shit. What's up?
It's,
I'm gonna
it's
give you
just a field of
They
gray.
all gray to you?
It's just a field of gray and cum. Sorry.
Do you know what color
I'm gonna
shirt
give you-
you're wearing right now?
I'm red green colorblind, so I can see everything, and I can see red and green as long as they're by themselves, or at least what I perceive as red and green. But if you put red and green together, or if it's shades of red or shades of green, and even some blue, some like purples, and then it starts getting really weird.
So you were one of the actual people that watched the color rush, the introduction of the color rush uniforms in the NFL when the Jets and the Bills played, and it was full red and full green, and you couldn't tell who was who.
That was the worst game I've ever watched on television. I had no fucking clue who was anybody. I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I sat there in a bar. I was on a date, and I was at the bar on a date watching this game, and the whole time I'm just pissed the fuck off because I have no fucking clue what's going on. And
No
the chick comes
way.
back to my hotel room and fucked me afterwards because she felt bad for me because I got no enjoyment out of the football game that I was trying to watch.
Holy shit!
yeah.
I didn't know that was a real thing.
Yeah,
Thank
that
you.
was- it was miserable.
Dude, my buddy Luke, he didn't know he was colorblind because he just assumed that's what colors look like to him.
How would you know?
And when he tried to lap move to EOD, and they're like, you can't be EOD, dude. You can't tell the difference between the color wires. And he's like, what are you talking about? he's like, they're just color.
What's EOD for us retards?
Explosives, right?
Explosive ordnance disposal. It would be diffusing bombs.
Cuts the wrong wire.
Yeah.
They're all
I was
gray
about to say,
wires.
I know what that means, but there's a huge fucking joke there that like
Yeah.
if you don't know what that means. It's like Justin watching the Bills and the Jets, not knowing.
Yeah. So you wouldn't
What's
know
going
what colors to like snip or take out, or I don't exactly how it know. And they're like, yeah, you can't do this, obviously. And he's like, I didn't even know I was colorblind.
So like
Well,
with
when I
car
was trying to-
stereos, there's like a set, like certain colors mean certain things. It's pretty standardized. I don't feel like bomb makers are like that. It's like on like the movies, they're like, you got to cut the green wire, and it's like,
Yeah.
I don't know if the bomb maker followed that fucking schematic, dude.
There's
you know?
I guess in certain instances, just because like with even like old missiles that didn't explode or something, like there's certain it's not like it happens all the time or even 100% of the time, but in case there's like a 20% chance it's like old ass shit. Because a lot of the EOD guys, when I was in the Marine Corps, they would be going to Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam all the time to go dispose of ordnance that didn't explode back in Vietnam. So
You would think this is a fairly simple obstacle to overcome by the bomb makers, and that is, we'll just flag our own wires, like with painter's tape. They're going to be all black with no insignia, no serial number, no nothing, and then we just connect them, and then we just take the painter's tape off, and it's like, fucking, you figure it out.
Well, the fucked up part is that the EOD guys that we talk to, like, 90% of the time we just throw C4 on it and blow it up.
Yeah.
So like, it's not even that we need to actually it's not like what's that movie? Oh, the army guy.
Oh,
Speed?
No.
He wears the suit. It's
Hurt
Jeremy
Locker.
Renner.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Really? I've never even seen that.
I don't know. There's like a movie where it's like, I don't know, Jeremy Renner, and he's the army guy, and he diffuses all these bombs in like Iraq
Hurt
or
Locker.
Afghanistan. Yes, that's what it's called.
Yeah.
And all the EOD guys hated it. All of them. They like literally had talked shit about this movie so much. They're like, this is not what we do.
They're like,
at
the
all.
wires are not
It's
fluorescent colors.
This is fake as fuck. Like, there's no, like, we're not putting this suit. Like, he's like 90% of the time we walk up, we look at it, we throw C4, and we tell everyone, get the fuck away. We blow it up and leave.
They're not
He's like,
using
"It's not-"
3M fucking encased wires to make their bombs. And
yeah. And like, it's
Bougie.
like every time there's like an IED, this guy's suited up and he's like walking over there. It's like this intense.
I wonder-
scene to defuse all these bombs. And the EOD guys are like, yeah, that is like maybe once in a blue moon we do that.
yeah,
Was
Well, and that's how
American
you can-
Sniper like that for like people who were like snipers, where they're like, "Oh, I would have shot all them kids."
Well,
Were they like just like, fuck, I hate that movie.
I don't know. I didn't know many snipers. The ones I talked to liked the movie. I didn't hear him talk too much shit about it, but everyone in the military
I
loves
didn't
it.
think so.
I say the two guys that I know in person that were snipers in Iraq don't talk about that shit at all. Like they do not like to talk about what they did. Like that job was they had a very specific job and they were really fucking good at it, and they do not want to talk about it because it involved just like blowing people's heads off a whole lot more
Just
than
like my granddad.
a
Every
whole lot
time
more
it
than what
came
any
up,
like normal human being should be comfortable with. Like that was just their job, and
Yeah, I do know their confirmed kills get a little bit inflated, and they will inflate them as much as they can. It makes them look cooler or better, especially if you're trying to write a book or have a movie deal about yourself. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I never really ran into many snipers when I was in. I only dealt with like EOD guys. So
like I said, the two guys that I know that were snipers in Iraq, like the extent of what they want to talk about is, yeah, I had to kill a lot more people than what I was comfortable with. And if I had to go back and do it again, I 100% would do it again. But, I don't want to talk about it beyond that. And it's like, okay, I get it. Like, I was just I was just curious. And whenever that's the answer, it's like, okay, like I don't need to press anymore. That clearly it's a.
Yeah, the guys that are too eager to tell you about it likely didn't
Probably
do it.
didn't do anything.
Yeah.
And they're only sharing stories
that's-
they heard once they got back at base or on a ship.
It's
what
like
I've learned.
20 beers deep after you've known this guy for like 4 years, then he'll tell you like the saddest story you ever heard in your entire life, and you're like, Jesus Christ, dude.
Yeah.
Otherwise, they're either lying or they're total psychopaths.
Yeah, it's
because
like
they're that proud of it,
this is why it was smart to never press this dude about what he did over there.
Yeah, it's like my grandfather. He was in Vietnam, and he would always tell this story. Like he was a tunnel rat guy. Like,
oh God.
Yeah, he was in the rat tunnels or whatever. And so he would tell this story about going down there, and then there would be, there was this part where he would talk about, I'm walking through the tunnels, and then all of a sudden I hear voices, and then we were trying to figure out like, are they friendly voices or not? And then we heard them speaking Vietnamese, and then so we realized that they were the enemy, and then basically what he told us whenever I was younger was like, oh yeah, we snuck out of there basically. But then like whenever he started having dementia, apparently my brother told me that he all of a sudden said, yeah, so I pulled out my gun and I shot the guy, and like that's when I'm like, okay, maybe he actually did kill some people over there, like even though
the show Peaky Blinders. In the first season, the main character, I forgot, Thomas Shelby, he, that was his job. He was digging tunnels underground. And there's like this intense scene where they're just like listening to the Germans digging, and they're speaking German. They're so close they can hear them. My grandpa said he couldn't watch that because he said like that's the scariest thing. He's like, when you're in combat, it's like your instincts kick in and you're like, you know what to do. You're shooting, you're fighting.
Adrenaline.
Silent and nighttime, and you can hear them in the trees. That was the scariest moment of my life, and I was like, "What the fuck, dude?"
Yeah,
that's the craziest.
That's what I've learned. Like the people that actually did shit, you don't hear it from them because they don't want to, or like, there's a different caliber of people. Some people just want to like drama dump everything and just be like, "This is all the worst things." That I did or whatever. But most people are like, nope. It's literally like the shitty ass fucking slogan, like what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. It's all gay and fuck, whatever. But like the real people that actually have seen shit don't talk about it. Like, and this isn't even just military. This is like law enforcement, fire.
Yeah.
Fire is a little different because they have to make jokes about it because that's all they see every day, and they're not. firefighters don't take rounds typically unless you're in LA in 92. But so like my firefighter buddies have the best stories because they will openly talk about like the most fucked up shit. Like, dude, I was doing chest compressions. This guy vomited all over me. And I was like, get the fuck off me. But you talk to an officer, like a local cop, and I know like libertarians, we hate cops or whatever, but I come from a law enforcement background as far as family.
Sure, yeah.
And
fuck all your family.
Like my stepdad was a special agent in the FBI, and I've tried so hard to get stories out of him. And he won't do it. He will not do it. It like the second he starts to blend, like kind of go into that, he just jerks away. He's like, nope. He's like, because it's worse because it's not a foreign war. It's like you don't know. We're not going.
Yeah, I see.
And like he was one of the babysitters. I don't think he was on. I don't think you can find a picture of him, but he babysat Elian Gonzalez, the Cuban kid that was pulled out of his home, and then he was shipped to Maryland, and he literally had to like pick his bikes up and put them back in the garage. That was my stepdad for like 2 weeks. Wow. And when he came home, I was like, dude, what was it like? Oh my God, it's all over the news. He's like, no, he was on duty during the Olympic City or Olympic Park bombing here in Atlanta, and I was like, I don't know, 14, and I was like, tell me everything. He's like, never. But when the movie came out that Clint Eastwood made about the Olympic Park bombing, my stepdad went and saw it the day it came out, like the day it came out. And I talked to him the next time I talked to him. I think it came out in like spring. I saw him on Father's Day, and he just started volunteering all this information. I was like, holy shit. He was like, oh yeah, that story in the movie, Jim, by the way, you should totally go see that movie. That's a good movie. And I was like, oh, okay. So it's accurate. And, and so I was like, well, what was good about it? He was like, well, they got a lot of things right. Like, okay, first of all, the chick who worked for the AJC, the local paper here, she was 100% sleeping with federal agents trying to get scoops. And I was like, really? He was like, oh yeah, you know, so-and-so and so-and-so, they know her. And I was like, this is after he was retired, so he just doesn't give a fuck. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay. My stepdad did surveillance on Richard Jewell, the suspected Olympic Park bomber. He camped outside of his apartment in Marietta for like, I don't know, 6 weeks. He was like, dude, what they did to him was so fucking wrong. Anyway,
that's what I was about to ask. That was the guy they like sort of ruined his life, blaming it on him, but there was no way he could have done it or something. I'm not very familiar with the story.
Yeah, but like my stepdad was like, I knew the whole time he wasn't the guy. But you get orders, you are to be at this place watching this person. There's no questioning that, because until it's known, you have your suspicions, but you go and you just do the thing. And so this is like, I can drive there like in 45 minutes. It's not like, you know, a different culture, a different country or whatever. So he's operating and doing certain things, whatever. Long story short, I understand the apprehension to tell those stories. Like if you had to do extraordinary things for, you know, for whatever reasons.
My dad was in the military. Sorry,
go ahead, Dak. No, you go ahead.
My dad was just a little, just like 2 years too young to have had to go to Vietnam, unfortunately. But my uncle, his brother, who they were very close, he got drafted and then, you know, ran down and enlisted, you know, as soon as he got the letter in the mail, you know, that thing.
What branch? Can I ask that?
He was in the Army. He was a mechanic, so he was mostly a helicopter mechanic.
Cool.
But then he went back over as a contractor a couple times at helicopter mechanic, smuggled a lot of dope back and shit. But like but you know, like my dad would say, like, yeah, dude, like, because he had a lot of friends who made it back or didn't, but he's like, yeah, dude, nobody talks about that shit. You know, they'd come back from Vietnam, and like like, you know, his brother's like, yeah, dude, he wouldn't talk about it, you know, but he was pretty fucked up when he came back, you know. And then he became a drug smuggler because that's what he learned how to do. You know, I guess being a helicopter mechanic, even if you're not like in the shit, like you're seeing these things probably coming back, shot up, full of blood.
For sure.
You know, you're probably seeing some fucked up shit, even if you're not in the shit.
100%, dude.
Yeah.
Well, like, and like for me, being just a normie civvy that didn't do any of that, like all my cop friends are like, Jim, why the fuck didn't you ever like come in and be a cop, be a detective or whatever? And I was like, nah, there's no way in fucking hell. Like my whole family's cops. And they're like, okay, well, I get that, whatever. And I'll get into that story later. This isn't a stream for that. But fuck, there was something I was leading up to and I totally forgot it. Let's go back to the game.
All right, you're up actually.
Sorry about that. That's what
All
happens
good.
when you drink a little bit and forget where you were.
It's all good. That's what this is for. We're just dicking around here. All right, I got a nice easy one for you since you wouldn't maybe change my font.
Can you make it sans
He
serif?
He does have the gray in the beard. That's why he needs it a little bigger.
Comic
you.
Sans, please.
Damn, I didn't know my camera was that good that you can capture my elderliness.
The old salt and pepper.
Oh, I remember what I was going to say. It was, the realization of where COVID came from. That was CIA. That came from my stepdad. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later about
that. Reporter Henry Morton Stanley finally finds the missing Dr. David Livingstone in Africa. He reportedly greets him, Dr. Livingston, I presume, which I didn't realize was a real thing either. That's for a movie or something.
Yeah, I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
I know of this story, but it could be anywhere from like 1600 to 1947.
Because nothing has changed there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Black and white movies are before. You know, I'm sure of that.
Well, I got a pretty good. Who's after me?
After you is going to be Ariel.
All right, Ariel, get ready to answer this question. I'm going to say only because it's the biggest year gap left in the time that I think it is, 1798 to 1861.
I'm sorry, that is incorrect. But good strategy.
Yeah, I was thinking of that too.
well, now process of elimination, buddy. You know it's not here. Dr. Livingston, I presume.
1610, 1793.
That is incorrect as well.
That's the best get. Like, come on now. Who the fuck is Livingston?
All right, Typo, get your first point here. What you got, man? Dr. Livingston, I presume.
Is it 1793 and 1798?
That is incorrect. So we've
All right,
gone.
we got to start coloring the years red for what's missed. See, now I'm asking for way more.
Well, I think we have. Wait, what do we have, Dag?
We tried between 1793 and 98. We tried between 1798 and 1861.
And it is not between 1610 and 1861.
What you got, Jay? Give it your best guess.
Oh, it's me. I'm going to say between 1889 and 1926.
That is incorrect. Oh man!
If it's 1888, Dag, you're a dick.
Oh man, that is a tight gap there, isn't it?
You're a real son of a bitch.
Justin, what you got? We're running out of spots here.
I'm gonna go 1125 to 1610. That's the next biggest.
That's a big gap. That is not the correct gap, though.
Wow.
Oh my God.
Trey,
Dude, we're gonna clean the house on this one.
Trey's gone.
Oh, see that gone?
It seems he's not on screen.
Oh, I see. All right, Sam, it's up to you then.
I'm gonna go 1926 to 1938.
That is incorrect.
Oh my God!
Nobody got that one.
So what?
1871. 1871.
Do they give context, like in the footnotes of like what all that was? Is there any more additional information on that?
No, that's the card.
Because I'm so autistic, I now want to learn more, but like right now because I have low time preference.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was a real story.
Can we put up like a quick documentary, like 2 hours or so, talking about the
yeah,
subject?
Put it on 2x so we save time.
Yeah, I just looked up homeboy.
We'll make it
Dr.
an hour.
Livingstone died shortly after
jungle
that.
fever. He didn't want to be found.
He's like, I'm thumping this black.
Yeah.
I know we're still on YouTube, so I'll
He's the one who came up with the name Djibouti.
Wow.
All right,
I
Ariel,
named it
I got one for
Djibouti
you.
after I left because the whole time it was my booty.
Yeah. These beautiful black women. All right, Ariel.
Okay.
The epic film Ben-Hur wins a record 11 Academy Awards.
How many horses died?
As many as they needed.
Ben-Hur.
Okay.
11 Academy Awards.
Wait, did you fill in the
1938,
date on the last one?
1978.
Oh, you know what? I didn't because I was like, oh, nobody got it, so I just put it down. But I should add that. You're right.
Oh, it's not gonna.
By the way, Ariel, you're correct.
Yeah, 38, 78.
Yeah, what was it?
1938 to 1978, you say?
Yes.
That is correct. 1960.
1960. Okay, I thought it was made in the 50s.
Yeah, I was thinking about the 50s as well.
Well, I guess technically
it was made in the
time.
50s, but it came
They
out in
didn't
the
do the
60s.
reward. They didn't do the awards in the same year back then. They had to wait a little time for everybody to watch it.
That's
Yeah,
a
you
great
could just
movie.
go down to
by the way.
Blockbuster and rent
I
it.
don't give a fuck who
I've
you
never
are.
seen it.
That was right before
It's
he
a
did.
good-
Was it before or after Charlton Heston did the Ten Commandments?
See, like everybody's all like losing their shit. Like Tom Cruise does his own stunts. Watch Ben-Hur.
Back then, they used to
Watch
drown
Ben-Hur and then
extras.
go fuck yourself.
All right, Typo. Here's your chance, buddy. We're gonna get you on the board here.
I hope to God.
Bernice Guerra becomes the first female umpire in professional baseball.
Oh,
she called the game between the Geneva Rangers and the Auburn Phillies. Depending how good you are with baseball, there's a few clues. Becomes the first female umpire. She calls the game between the Geneva Rangers and the Auburn Phillies.
Oh my God!
Both cities I
I'm
did
gonna
not know they were in.
say 1938 to 1960.
Sorry, buddy, that is not correct. I'm terrible at the sports ones too, man. It's the worst category.
I'm not good at baseball, dude. I don't fucking know shit about baseball.
If this lands on
Jay
me,
does,
Forte,
though. What you
or
got, Jay?
Justin, I was about to say me, Jay, or Justin. This thing's getting smacked.
Between 1889 and 1926.
No, they wouldn't allow women back then.
I was thinking of like when the men were away at war, they needed some entertainment.
Yeah, that was my
Oh,
thought
that's a
process,
good
like
thought.
World War II.
Yeah.
Hey, they were
I've
still
seen that
collecting
Tom Cruise
taxes.
movie, so-
They were still collecting taxes, and men were doing that job.
Well, judging by the team names, I know it wasn't the Negro leagues, and I'm trying to think of female baseball leagues, and none come to mind.
Yeah, that is actually a very good line of reasoning. I will say though, Justin.
It's going to be
What you
after
thinking?
2006.
No, incorrect.
Major League Baseball umpire was after 2006, Justin. I think.
Forte, what was the year?
Professional baseball, but it's not very specific. I guess beyond that, I guess I would assume MLB. Well, if it's the Rangers and the Phillies, I guess I assume they were.
Well,
See, I
no,
thought
not,
it was-
not
I
given the
think-
cities
I,
you named.
I assumed it was Rangers Phillies Farm Club, so I guess fuck.
Sam, what's your guess, buddy? Geneva Rangers, Auburn Phillies, first female umpire.
Did we already go? Oh, what was the first one that I missed the first one?
I think we said between 26 and 38. I think 1887, 1889, maybe. I don't remember. And after 2006.
Let's do 38 to 60.
No,
I did. That was mine. That was the one I did.
Oh, you already did that?
Yeah.
Take another guess. We'll give you another guess.
We'll go 60 to 78.
Correct. 1972.
Yep.
Do you think her strike zone calls are as bad as Angel Hernandez's?
It was as small as her G spot. Nobody
So glad
was
that
getting
guy
it.
retired.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have got that
Hernandez?
guess because I wasn't paying attention.
I was thinking about it after I let you take that second chance. I was like, oh, you got a shit ton of points. I shouldn't have done that.
Yeah, in 1972, the only year that the only NFL team to have a perfect season won the Super Bowl.
Oh, a Dolphins fan is here. I keep forgetting. You're all over the place, Forte. You're a Texas fan. You're a Dolphins fan. What's your baseball team?
Orioles. That's the only home team.
What the fuck is that?
That's
Baltimore,
How the fuck are
Texas,
you
and
a
Miami.
Dolphins fan?
Right. Pick an area and just cheer
That
for
is the
that.
goddamn Forte Triangle. Be a Rangers fan and like a Cowboys fan or something.
You're gonna love my basketball team.
Be geo
What's your
fucking
basketball
nationalist or something.
I like the Celtics, and hockey, I like the Penguins.
Do you just pick whoever was good at a certain point?
No.
Like, how does this come to be? I got questions, Forte. I don't like
so we had a
full
family
screen
member.
the panel. Poor.
We had a family member that
take
went
a
to
minute.
UT. So, and
Thank
then
you.
also where I grew up, you were either a Cowboys or Redskins fan. And for some reason, my dad and his brothers were all Dolphins fans. So that's how I became a Dolphins fan, because I wasn't allowed to like the Redskins because their fans are assholes. And Cowboys
No,
fans are too.
Philly fans are assholes. That's
They are.
universally
I agree.
accepted.
I hate that city.
You can have pompousness, you can have arrogance, you can have like undeserving of, fan loyalty, but we can all agree Philly fans are the worst in all sports. Sixers, Eagles.
I mean,
What
they threw
Phillies.
D batteries at Santa Claus, for Christ's sake.
Yeah, they're anti-Christian. They're the Antichrist. Yes, it's the birthplace of our nation, but maybe that says something greater of what we as a nation needs to work towards. We got to overcome Philly. That's America's proclamation. We got to overcome Philly and the people. of
I've
Philly.
never met a white Atlanta Falcons fan, so you
Oh.
will be the first.
For sure.
He's the only one I know.
Atlanta's, I gotta be honest, Atlanta, we were burned by white men. We were built by white men. There's a lot of blacks, a whole lot of blacks, a lot of great blacks. Some of my favorite blacks. They're all
Magoo's
right
probably
here.
the only guy that would visit Stone Mountain wearing a Falcons jersey.
Dude, I worked at Stone Mountain. I love that place. That is my heritage.
Place
My
rules.
people blew dynamite into the face of that granite to monument a moment in time that some would say hopefully never arises again, but others might have different opinions. I'm not here to wage an argument on either of those argument sides, but the South is rich in history and a lot of bullshittery. And yeah, we got blacks in the South. Deal with it. We've
Sorry, I
The
felt like that
South
was the perfect spot to throw that in.
The South has the most blacks.
That was beautiful.
But sidebar, when I was in the Marine Corps, there was this black guy. He was a corpsman. He was our doc, and he had like the deepest Southern accent I've ever heard, ever in my life. And I insulted him one day because he was like, we were talking about football, and he's like, what team do you think I cheer for? And I was like, I don't know. You sound like you might be from Louisiana, so I'm I guess New Orleans. And he got so pissed at me. He took his shirt off, and I was like, "Are we about to fight?" Oh my god!
Goddamn right.
And he turned around, and he had this Atlanta Falcons tattoo on his back. Dude, he was so hyped up.
You're like, that was my second guess. Thank you.
See, I could go to his cookout.
Yeah, you probably could.
That's the thing. Is here I can, I can sound as racist as they come, but the difference is this is one thing that me and my neighbors have talked about. It's when the George Floyd riots were going off, we were looking around dude, this country is fucking retarded. We've dealt with black white relations for so fucking long. This wouldn't even be a fucking thing. And then fast forward 3 weeks, cops end up shooting a guy in a Wendy's parking lot in urban Atlanta, and they burn down the Wendy's. I'm like, okay, well, spoiler alert, I was wrong. But for the most part, day to day, I'm outnumbered by blacks where I'm at. But it's such a non-issue. I know more based black people that would come on here and make most of us blush with the shit they say, and I'm like, yeah, that's why I don't feel that weird about what I say, because I think I'm being mild tempered. But yes, Typo, is not only a pleasure to meet you, if I haven't met you before, but yes, I am in fact a white Falcons fan. There are plenty of us. In fact, I am such a Falcons fan.
There are signs.
Going back to my family history, my real father wrote Deion Sanders numerous traffic infraction tickets when he was an Atlanta Falcon. I want that on my
EWB.
Many speedings. He had a white Corvette. He sped all over the goddamn place. And my dad, their training facility was in Suwanee, which is in Gwinnett County. My dad was a Gwinnett County police officer, and it's not like they just like stationed up outside of Falcons training camp. It was just Deion couldn't fucking not be late somewhere, which ironically he was late everywhere. But he acted like he had anyway. He just sped fucking everywhere. So. Like the first Deion signature I ever saw was on my my dad's carbon copy ticket registry.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, he wrote him at least 6 tickets in the first 2 years he was an Atlanta Falcon. And then my dad bought season tickets to go see the Falcons, and we cheered on Deion. And my dad would tell me, I wrote him so many tickets, and he was nice as fuck, but he cannot drive the speed limit. And I was like, well, you know. Thank God he's not swimming. He would be under the speed limit.
He's probably like knows your dad by now, and he's like, that dude's a fucking dick. The other ones will let me off.
Maybe one day I'll get to talk to the coach of the Buffs. But yeah, you know, if blacks had to drive in water, if blacks had to drive in water, we'd have to give them tickets for slowing shit down. Anyway,
all right, Jay.
Sidebar.
My turn.
Yeah, I got a question for you that Ariel's going to wish was his.
Oh no!
Brazil formally declares its independence from Portugal.
Yeah.
Brazil officially declares its independence from Portugal.
Ariel, if you don't get this right, none of us are.
Yeah, but Jay's third, but it might come to Ariel because you know
it's for sure coming to Ariel. I was giving a spoiler alert. Sorry, Jay.
No, it's Jay's guess.
Fuck me.
It, Jay?
No, I'm not. I'm staring at the screen. No, I'm looking at the numbers. I'm trying to figure out where to put this in between.
Oh, yeah, fair. I guess you're allowed to look at the screen, huh?
God, my South American history is garbage. Trying to think.
If it's not about regime change by the CIA, I don't know much about it. Or Aztec. Yeah. I know a little bit about that.
Here's a hint. It's pre-Nazi Germany.
Oh, I know. Yeah, it's
wow. That's helpful.
1491 is a great book, by the way.
It's a great video game, also.
1491?
1941.
Oh,
original
all right.
Nintendo.
Let's go between 1889 and 1926.
That is incorrect, buddy.
Thought I was wrong.
Justin, you're up to guess on that one.
Between 1610 and 1793?
No. Incorrect. We lost Trey. So, Sam. Brazil.
1798 to 1861.
Yes.
That is correct. 1822.
September
Sam,
the 7th of 1822.
There we go.
Sam,
and the story is there's the story you learn at school, and there's the real one.
Give us the real one.
Yeah,
always
the real one is
that's the way American history is too.
Yeah,
yeah, we don't get the real one.
The Brazil was being governed by the Prince of Portugal, Dom Pedro. He was like at the time the capital of Brazil was Rio de Janeiro, but he had traveled to São Paulo. He was getting back, and he was having a case of diarrhea.
Montezuma's revenge.
He was like they say that he was shitting on in a river, like close to a river. Then he got the letter that his wife and his advisor had declared Brazil independent, and he said, "Okay, guess that's it. Guess I'm the emperor now."
The best case of Imodium was being emperor. Fuck yeah.
Hey, if I've got to have diarrhea, I'd rather do it as an emperor.
Yeah.
So clean my shit, fools.
And that was before they even had like a phone to scroll while you're taking a shit, and you just get this
Yeah.
wonderful news.
Okay, so
Somebody has to.
Yeah, I need something to read. Wow, there is this letter from your wife. Like,
They walk
Got
in
something to
while
wipe
you're
with.
taking your eyeballs out and hand you a letter. You're like, hey, you got some mail. Like, this couldn't wait until I was like done. Okay.
Well, I guess you could use it as TP if you need to.
all right,
Yeah.
so Ariel,
Ariel,
what's
are
the
you-
school
oh, sorry.
version?
the school version is he was in his horse, like, which is dumb. You wouldn't use a horse to travel from Sao Paulo to Rio. It's a big distance for a horse. You would use a mule. But he was in a horse, and he declared, like, in Sao Paulo, he declared the independence there. He said, like,
Gotta be a good
independence
noble
or death.
story.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
See, that's what I like. Give me the real, and then give me the purified.
Ariel, are you Brazilian?
I'm Brazilian. I live in Colombia, though.
Okay. I have a question about Brazil. Do you know about the Confederate that happens in Brazil?
Yeah,
He's been
it's-
asked.
Me and Jim ask him about.
I love this answer though.
It's in the town called Americana.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Confederate what?
There's a Confederate festival, like
Oh.
Southern Confederate festival that happens in Brazil.
Yeah,
Yes.
Did some
the
people
town
flee or
was
something to
founded
Brazil?
by Confederates that flee the
Defectors.
U.S.
Ah,
and
makes sense.
they founded the city. They still, like, they're always on the news because they want, for example, they want to have stop signs with the stop in English.
Not slaves. I thought you were going to say slaves.
Stop running.
They want to build a
wanted
wall.
more words.
They want to build.
Stop running.
They're trying to deport all Brazilians from the city.
The way you can
Yeah.
tell my wife doesn't watch this show is because she got offended and went to bed and told me to sleep in the garage.
Dude, she would have been so long gone by now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
you should have been sleeping on
and
that
some of
couch
the
behind
mi-
you.
It's some of the mild shit she got offended.
The
with.
crazy-
Dude, Marriott Tugman is what sent her to bed.
The craziest. Yeah, like that wasn't even like really offensive. I was just asking about the Confederates in Brazil. Like that's just a cool history to me.
Yeah.
Like I blow like my coworkers away when I'm like, there's like a Confederate festival in Brazil, right? They're like, what are you talking? Like they just have no concept of this at all. And I show them pictures of it. And they're like, what the fuck is going on in Brazil?
Dude, I guarantee you members of that town have made a Mecca pilgrimage to Stone Mountain, Georgia here for like our 4th of July shit. It used to be super fucking based. Now it's like a goddamn rallying point for neo-lib ass fuckery.
Yeah.
But they burnt down the goddamn plantation house in that park. By the way, I might be the only one from Georgia who's ever seen Stone Mountain Park, but
I've
if
been
you're
there.
ever in the South, come through Stone Mountain. It's if you've ever seen the show Ozark on Netflix.
Yes.
Anybody familiar with that? When they did the riverboat gambling scheme, all those scenes were filmed in Stone Mountain Park. The riverboat is a
really?
Stone Mountain Park. Yeah, they're like all the walls are granite. The entire show is filmed in Georgia, but there's certain aspects from that marina. Like I've worked there, so I know that trash can was moved because it used to be next to it. But I would look at it and anyway, the entire park is a monument to the Confederate armament. And they're slowly trying to like just destroy it all. And it's like, you stupid fucks, it's not about slavery. It's literally about what you're trying to do right now in LA. The deference, the difference between state and local authority. That's all it was. And some people are like, oh, states' rights for what? To own slaves? And it's like, no, states' rights say go fuck yourself. I'd volunteer.
Wait,
to
it's
not
not
be a
for
part of it.
slavery?
I did it.
Well, then I don't really like them anymore.
I did a Lincoln episode of my show last
Well,
week.
the slavery would have still taken part, but the official thing on paper.
I get
Jabber, 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 jabber.
I don't remember the author, but there's a really good book. It's called "Freeing Slaves, Emancipating," or "Emancipating Slaves, Enslaving Free Men," or something. And it takes a look like the Civil War through like a big like economic lens, about like slavery not being profitable here, there. But anyhow, his thing, he's like, okay, like, could you say the cause of secession was slavery? Sure, but the cause of the war wasn't slavery. It was the North not being able to let the South go, for, pick the reason.
I would say
know?
none of it's about slavery, secession, war, even
There
the
were
resolution.
several, I mean, and I don't disagree with you, but I mean, there were several. The thing is, there were several states who, like that was like in like their like documents about why like there's something about slavery, or you'd say the political aspects of slavery because of like it became like some states are going to be slaves or not. But yeah, no, I mean, I agree with you. It's there was a lot of fuckery going on before that.
There were slave states in the Union. There were slave states in the Union. Lincoln was more than willing.
Up there.
Maryland.
Well,
was
that's the whole
eighth,
thing. Is like
Maryland was the eighth largest.
They murdered
slave
people who
state
printed abolitionist material in the North.
Well, Maryland was the eighth largest slave state in the country, and when the Emancipation Proclamation was signed, it only applied. If you look at it, it only applied to
the Confederacy,
to the rebelling Confederate states. It did not. It didn't. The Emancipation Proclamation did not actually free a single slave in the Union. It only freed slaves in the rebelling Southern states
because they were getting their asses kicked.
It was 100% a political tool. It was not. Yep. It was not about actual slavery in any way. It was
the winning side doesn't burn an entire fucking entrenchment from Atlanta to the sea because they're winning. Now, granted, I live within that warpath. Atlanta's insignia is a phoenix rising from the ashes of fire, and all that's from Sherman. So it's trying so hard to be forgotten about in modern day Atlantaism. But fuck that. I'm from here. I was born and raised here. I
did
know
an
the
episode
history.
of Fact Check This about Lincoln last week, and I talked about all of that stuff and like 1810 to 1850. There were like 4 different compromises that were signed between the North and the South about the tariffs that were being applied and gradual ramp up of the tariffs, along with a gradual reduction of slavery. Yeah. And the South was abiding by their side of the compromises every time. The reason that they fell apart every single time was because the North would not honor the agreement that they made. And that's why the South ended up seceding and saying, fuck this, was because every time they made an agreement, a compromise with the North to do these things, the North would just end up getting like 3 years into the compromise and saying, nope, we're not going to do that. Sorry.
Yeah, the Union was neocons in effect, because the South, I think it was after the Battle of Bull Run, could have taken over DC and conquered America. It was never the objective of the Confederacy to conquer and take over the nation of America. It was always, hey, we voluntarily chose to be a part of this union. Up until that point, it was never decided. It was never played out in actual real terms what it looked like to voluntarily leave. And just that simple suggestion of, nah, we don't want to be a part of that no more, was met with the deadliest, bloodiest war in American history, even to this day.
That's my biggest thing about it is people, they call rebels or this or that. And I'm like, and even in I've told this story before, in my high school American history class, the last day before the final, any questions you guys got? We're having the final tomorrow. And the pretty cheerleader who gets straight A's, but she's dumb as shit, raises her hand and goes, yeah, I got a question. Why did the South try to take over the North? Why didn't they make their own country? And the teachers go, oh, that's not what happened. They seceded, blah, 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 And if I had asked that question, I would have got yelled at because I slept every day, but I knew the answer. I got 98 on the fucking final. But it was so frustrating. So I'm like, dude, you just sat through this whole class for a year talking about this. And so many people just don't. And same thing, like these days, somebody says, oh, California's going to break off. Like they're going to lose the Civil War with their dildos and bongs. And it's like, why does there have to be a Civil War? Can't you just say, bye, Felicia? You know what I mean? People think like you gotta like you can't allow that to happen. And they think like with the Civil War, well,
are you
take it over?
Are you a big fan of Irish Catholics, Magoo?
My last name, we're still on YouTube, and I don't give a fuck. Dox me, find me, fuck you. is McGill. I'm Scottish and German and English and Cherokee. My one side of my lineage goes back to Daniel Boone. Another side goes back to the longest history of Cherokee, but my namesake is Scottish. So, and I'm from the South. My entire family's from the South. We are Southern heritage Americans. So repeat your question because I already forgot it when I started talking too much about shit you didn't ask about.
We're talking about.
How do you feel about Irish Catholics?
Were essentially used against your people in the Civil War.
Oh, see, I don't care because I need to learn more about it, but I don't care just from a reactionary standpoint because we're Southern Baptists. My family's Southern Baptist well before all of this Zionist bullshit ever was part of the church doctrine. My family's been here longer than Zionism was ever a term, and they were Southern Baptists long, like from the 1700s. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm not. All I'm saying is, well,
so we had no problems with the Catholics.
Well, yeah, now you don't, but the American history is essentially like Protestants versus Catholic versus Jews, and you can kind of break it down like that. Like the Union used a lot of Irish Catholics. Like essentially most of the
did
Union
like a quarter
Army,
to a third of Ireland like immigrate during that time period.
So
yes,
just
even
to the US.
first, like the first prime minister or president, whatever Ireland has, was actually born in America. The ties between the North and Ireland were like very deep. We even held a proxy war against Canada using the Irish. So like the Irish were like actually essential in creating what I would war created the American Empire, in my opinion.
I'll put it to you this way, Typo.
Kind of went out the window.
Like I watched the I didn't know about this until I watched the JD
Bill the
Vance.
Butcher did nothing wrong.
I didn't know about this website,
Yeah.
this service, until I watched JD Vance on Theo Von, where JD Vance, our vice president, mentioned that there's a website where you can like find your genealogy and its ties to what side on the Civil War.
Yep.
And so I did so. And every option of like my grandfather's name, both of them, my grandmother's name, both of them, any like great grandparents' name that wasn't, still viable. Every single time it was like 1,400 Confederate, 146 Union.
Yeah.
Like that was the average ratio of like my family dynamic. So my family was deep entrenched in the South, going back before this country was founded. I already knew that. And so I'm not familiar with the issue you're talking about. I've never heard of that. So I don't know if it played a part, to be honest.
Well, I'm saying is, so the South was predominantly Anglo-Saxon, like the founding stock of our nation.
Mhm.
Virginia is like the founding. Like that is where the culture of like America came from. George Washington, Jefferson, like all these
the
like
first colonies.
Virginians. Yeah, and without Virginia, there probably could have never been a revolution at all, because Virginia at the time was the economic like powerhouse. It just had all the ability. Like they had, like, if you ever watched the show John Adams or Adams on HBO, like they had
remember
to get
it.
Virginia.
It's a good show.
They had to get Virginia on board, or there would have been no Revolutionary War. So the founding stock, Americans, Anglo-Saxons, were predominantly in the South. And when the Union like went to war, declared war on the Confederacy, they actually used a lot of foreign-born soldiers, Germans, Irish. Like most of their military, like I wouldn't say most, but like a significant portion of their military were made up of foreigners, either first generation that just came here, or people that literally just came off the boat that were forced to fight in
But
the
all
Union.
Catholics.
A lot of them were Catholics.
Slavery's bad, but conscription's cool.
Well, the whole idea between like separation between church and state wasn't like we want atheism and Satan worship to be like put
It
on.
was just for the federal government.
No, it was Massachusetts Catholics didn't want North Carolinian Protestants dictating once one side gained a major population, majority to dictate to Massachusetts or
they were
to
Puritan
North
at the time.
Carolina.
They really weren't Catholic.
Well, no, my point is they didn't want a certain sect of Christianity to become state doctrine. It had nothing to do with correct. So the Catholics in Massachusetts didn't want to be federally doctrinated into Protestantism just as much as the Southern Protestants didn't want to be federally indoctrinated into Catholicism. We didn't need a Southern Notre Dame. That's why Notre Dame is in Indiana, not, Mobile. And that was the impetus to the separation of church and state. Not this whole you got to keep God out of legislation, bruh. No.
We still had state churches in this country up until 18, 40 or 1830.
Until every major city got burned, which a lot of people think are a conspiracy theory. Atlanta was pretty easily answered. That was Sherman. But you take into account the modern building mechanism was wood, and you didn't have a firefighting agency. And then the introduction of electricity somewhere in between that and oil lanterns. I don't know. It would be more of a miracle if every major city didn't burn than they did. But I'm supposed to believe that every major city burning in America is them clearing the record of white heritage. And I'm like, I think you're jacking off with sandpaper.
Yeah, they were really trying to hide the giants, right? That's right. That's where you're going with this, right?
Yeah, the Nephilim came out of the Grand Canyon and they wanted to burn Milwaukee to hide evidence. I can't go with you there.
The thing on Twitter right now is Senator Lee, or what's his name?
Mike Lee from Georgia.
Mike Lee, yeah, he's trying to sell off federal land to.
There's a lot of discrepancy with that, and I'll be honest, I'm looking forward to actually making contact with him, being a state resident of, the state he represents, and be like, let's talk about this.
I thought it was Georgia, or not Georgia. I thought it was Utah.
Nope, Georgia, but he wants to sell parts of Utah, so I'm going to reach out to him and see if I can't get a fucking hold of him.
The theory I saw on Twitter, and this is plausible to me, is that he is trying to colonize Bigfoot land in the forests within America.
You've seen one too many AI videos, and I fucking respect that.
And
that's where I live.
The national park forest in our country is actually reservation for the Bigfoot. That was the deal made, codified with our government, and he's trying to take over their territory, and Bigfoot's just gonna.
I'm gonna have to talk to old Mike because
someone put a post that it's they're gonna drop Somalians in the forest so they can eat Bigfoot.
See, now if their plan was they're gonna drop Molly in the forest so that Bigfoot becomes peaceful, now we're
Somalians.
No, I heard you.
Oh, okay.
I'm reaching here's my amendment.
Counter argument.
I know where Bigfoot lives.
Sam, I believe you, dude. You know everything. You fucking won this game already.
No, he's like a half hour from my house.
I believe you, dude.
But everyone always goes up looking in the Cascades. He doesn't live in the Cascades.
Nah,
he lives in the
near
Olympics.
the water. Everyone's always known, dude. Sam,
It doesn't make any sense. So why would Bigfoot live
Cascades?
Up in the Cascades, the volcanic mountain range, when there's this non-volcanic mountain range right over here?
I could write that manual.
Bigfoot's not a dummy.
I can't even take this anymore. I got to take a break.
Whose turn is it?
Justin's turn.
Oh, did you guys want to play? Did you guys want to play any other games tonight, or do I just?
Whatever you guys want to do.
I figured in about 30 minutes we're going to finish this, and I'm going to play Outer Worlds since I'm not allowed to go to bed.
Oh, I always got Jackbox on the table. If you guys want to design some T-shirts. So whose turn is it?
It's my turn.
Justin's turn. You ready?
Yes. Give me a question.
The Magna Carta is signed by King John of England. The charter limits the king's power and establishes basic rights for citizens.
Fuck.
Magna Carta.
Feel like I should know that. And
It's one of those things we've all heard about, but when it happened is a little shady.
I'm gonna go 1822 to 1861.
That is incorrect, buddy.
Damn it.
Sam?
1512.
So you're saying between 1125 and 1610?
Yeah.
That is correct. 1215.
Oh, I less disky at it.
12.
I definitely less disky at it.
Yeah, man.
Jesus Christ, Sam.
I know, you're too fucking good at this. He's got 7. 7.
We're all
right,
good.
and you're up, Sam. Your question. The clasp locker, or zipper, as it is known, is invented by Whitcomb Judson. The zipper is invented.
Oh, I'm going to get this wrong. 1861 to 1871.
That is incorrect. Oh, Magoo's still out. We'll skip him. Ariel, when was the zipper invented?
1926 to 1938.
Oh, that is also incorrect. What you got, Typo? You up?
God.
Zipper.
1871 to 1887.
No, not right. Jay.
1822, 1861.
Nope. Justin, it's your last chance for it.
1798 to 1822.
Nope. It was 1893. And that's about as long as this timeline's going to get before it starts getting too difficult.
Damn.
So
Sam won.
Yeah, we might want to wrap that. So Sam with 7 is the undisputed winner of this one. And then Jay and Ariel are in tie for second with 2.
Shit.
And then Magoo,
So big drop off.
yeah, Magoo won, Trey won, Justin won, and sorry, Typo, nothing.
That fucking suck.
We're a bunch of dumbasses.
All right. Okay, Typo. The United Nations is formally established.
God.
1953.
The United Nations, so like the League of Nations, does that count or no?
The UN, I think, is what they're specifically asking.
Okay, I'm gonna go with 1938 to 1960.
Correct, 1945. You got
Let's
one.
fucking go, boys.
There you go.
I was 8 years off.
Oh shit! Good game, guys.
You got any more in there?
Yeah, I got a bunch more. I just
What is this game called? They should pay you.
it's called Chronology. Oh, yeah, I know, right? I know. I'm like,
Because I think that you sold like 6 copies at least.
Yeah.
Is there
I went to a
the-
party and someone was playing,
did the
and
parent
I
com-
ordered it like that day, and then every time somebody comes over to play, they like buy it that day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Chronology.
I ordered it on Amazon.
did the parent company make another game called Physiognomy?
Phrenology.
You know, 2 different words for the same thing.
Croissant,
like
flipping brain
Gay
hand, or
Race?
Stagecoach tilter.
Hell yeah! All right.
Because we played that on I have a show 5 till midnight. We played that on the show where we like guessed the race. It like popped up a person.
Oh, GeoGuessr.
Yeah,
Not
with
GeoGuessr.
with Adam Nutter.
Ethnic guesser.
Yeah. I sucked at it, but Sam, our anthropology friend, he was actually pretty good at it. I was impressed.
Something about being named Sam.
Yeah, Sam. His name is Samuel. He fucking
And-
knows shit. Sam's no
There you
shit.
go.
about
This
it.
is the same guy. He just runs, different skin masks.
Basically, if you're playing one of these games with someone named Sam, just go ahead and give up. Like you're fucked.
Yeah.
All right, fuck it. I'm going to subscribe to Sam's Club tomorrow. I don't want to be left out.
Man, fuck Sam's Club. Real men go to Costco
all day.
All right, so what do we with Sam's Club?
What?
Costco's
They're not real
headquarters-
Costco. They're fake
Costco's
Costco. They're fake.
headquarters in
They're
Washington.
fake Costco. Yeah. Also Kirkland. So there's Costco everywhere here. I go to Costco like every 2 weeks, and I buy more shit than I need, and then I never have to go to the store.
See, so this is an interesting.
It's
dynamic.
more of a
Like,
religion.
Would otherwise be blown over by normies in like Albuquerque. Like in the South, you're Walmart respecter. And
Well,
so
yeah.
True.
the Sam Walton family who owns Sam's Club, you know, if you're an allegiance based American, you just go to Sam's and you say fuck you, Costco.
There's no Costco in my area.
However, now with the known knowledge that everyone knows, which is like knowledge cubed, everyone now knows that the heiress of the Walton fucking finance is sponsoring she's basically Georgiana Soros. She's funding all the anti-ICE raids. So like, should we say fuck Arkansas? Like maybe you should fuck off for a bit. And like, I'm not going to Walmart. I'm going to Publix
Definitely.
because I'm close to Florida.
Definitely shouldn't ever let Arkansas get a president in the White House.
Like, is this when we embrace the left and go boycotting some fucking bullshit like this?
Did you say
What do we
Kirkland's
do?
is from
Arkansas
Washington?
already had a president.
That's true.
Oh,
Oh,
I
Billy
think that was
Boy.
a joke.
Pretty
Yeah.
sure Kirkland's is from Tennessee. Because I did when I was in college, I did the landscaping for the guy that owned Kirkland's at the time. He had a big, he had like a big fucking compound. And
Yeah,
I also-
dude. If
I also
you would have
banged it-
stuck with it, you would have had stake equity in, whatever. I'm just
I also
saying,
boned
like,
his girlfriend or his granddaughter. But
you can make millions in landscaping.
I think
if you
that
just, like,
Costco-
become stakeholders.
so-
Kirkland is the brand Costco carries. It started in Kirkland,
Yeah,
Washington.
but the first
Walmart store
Costco
brand.
was Kirkland, Washington, and the guy like worked at a fucking grocery store and was just like he was unloading pallets and he was like, "There's all this fucking wasted space in here. Like, why are we doing this?" So his thing was like, we don't have to make fancy looking packages, make square jars so you can fit more stuff and have smaller jar containing the same thing, and then you can sell it for cheaper. And
The Masons
people are
figured
going
this
to
out 150 years ago with mason jars, and everybody wants to demonize them because they think they're like part of the Illuminati. They had
The
square
craziest
jars
thing
forever ago.
about a Costco though is that like if you go in there, they have just the racks, like in the back of a store, and they're like 3 or 4 stacks high. And thinking about the fact that it started in Washington, which is like, this is right on the fault line, like an earthquake while you're in a Costco, that's fucking terrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I'm surprised no one's died.
I think there's an equal. I'm going to kind of veer off a little bit, but I think there's an equal amount of like interest, or at least like possible future audience capture that hasn't been realized yet, to do the anti-conspiracy theory, like to start standing up for the things that we have been supposed to demonize, when we've all realized we've been retarded the whole time. Like, the Masons aren't the fucking like, oh my god, you're a Mason, you're a demon. It's like, no, they're
well, not anymore. They're guys that like drink beer and clean roads.
yeah, they're a cultural heritage.
My dad was a Mason, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
So
My
like,
grandfather.
this whole-
drinking club.
like when you're on Twitter and you see like, oh, the 33 different dimensions of Masonry is like what leads to like ping pong pizza, man. And you're like, dude, that's my uncle and both my granddads, my dad, my friend's dad. Like, I know them. Like, they're not in a closet in a pizza place. They're not in Hungry Howie's banging 4-year-olds. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, the Masons don't have power, so they're not
No.
doing weird shit anymore.
No, they are a gentleman's club, no different than like the Elks Club or GGC or any of that shit. So it's like whatever you're trying to make in place of that already existed, just use the infrastructure they already have, because you're not going to be any different than them if enough people don't like you. I don't know. I'm just welcome to Magoo's rants. I
like Magoo's rants.
I think a lot of the fucking like, ooh, you got to really think a lot about this is like gay 99% of the time.
100%. I think I honestly believe that we went to the moon. I believe we went to the moon. And there's a lot of people that don't believe that in our circles. But
I love having a fluid belief on that.
Gender fluid belief?
Why are you gay?
Who says I'm gay?
You are gay.
Thank you. Yes. I don't know, man. Have you seen the black end of the moon, you gay fuck?
Yeah. I have not.
You seen a black crater, you fag? No, I'm here for all that. I think changing of opinion is not only expected, but is healthy.
All right. You want me to get real controversial?
Let's do it.
Woodrow Wilson was not the worst president.
Correct. Only faggy libertarians hold on to that belief like it's their crucible.
Damn. I thought I was getting at something. Maybe
No,
cool.
I might be the only vocal one on this panel that is going to say that, but anybody else chime in.
Well, I'm waiting to hear who the worst is.
Well, Abraham Lincoln. So.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I don't think that's controversial with this group, though.
Well, that one, no. But if you,
I
if
literally
you
a week ago did a whole episode about how terrible Lincoln was.
Yeah.
I think if you're still a Dave Smith follower and like everything he says, then this last week you really gotta, like, I don't know, come to a
when I lost respect
intellectual
for Dave Smith?
Situation.
Okay, I won't say I lost respect. I still like the guy. I still think he's pretty smart and intelligent. But I stopped having as much faith in him as when he said Patrick Bet-David was like the ideal American.
Oh God, that fucking scammer!
I was like, what? Are we serious now?
Inshallah, 4th of July will be the greatest memory of our year.
He's just like
cool.
The Iranian version of Vivek Ramaswamy as far as scammers go.
Correct.
Yeah.
I enjoy
like,
watching
dude,
him.
Come on.
I enjoy watching him. I've even shared this with friends of mine, Justin being one. I enjoy watching his podcast because it gives me an insight. It kind of, I'm not in the sales meetings anymore, but it gives me that, like, I don't know if you ever have gotten a paper cut and you just remember that sensation where you're like, fuck. That's what it was like to be in sales meetings. And watching that podcast is like reliving the paper cut of sales meetings, where you hear salespeople talk in sales terms about things grander than what they have control over or what they have influence, or hopefully have influence over. And it's just the most arrogant, pompous, like just filling the air with nothing. But speaking very confidently in those matters.
And it's got a sound to it. It's got a sound to it. It's like, I met this guy. I met him 15 years ago. We were down over here.
Well,
we were doing a meeting. And I told him, here's what you got to do.
Words talk, numbers scream. Oh my God, that's prolific. Like everything that comes out of this room is just itemized. Like, who the fuck would have ever said that? And it's like, I've literally had all your thoughts. None of you are saying anything not only credible, but incredible. Like you're what's the inverse of incredible? Like uncredible?
I thought it'd be credible.
Credible.
Yeah.
Just credible.
No, but like not even credible. Like, ugh. Like you're not the brainwave activity in that room is inverse. Like
Yeah.
you're talking about how can we capture a bigger audience at all times. You're in sales mode.
I think it goes in like phases for everyone where you're like, at least for me, this is me. Maybe this is just anecdotal, but it was like, wow, this Ben Shapiro guy is like making fun of college kids, and he's like sounding really smart. I kind of like this guy. Oh, this Charlie Kirk guy, and you're like, I don't know. These guys are kind of weird, and you kind of fall into like other, still big name but not as big name podcast.
Yep.
And then you get like lower and lower. Then you're listening to a guy with like maybe 10,000 followers on Twitter, and you're like, this guy makes the most sense out of anyone in the world, and anyone bigger than this like doesn't make sense at all to me anymore.
Correct. 100%.
When you get
Like,
too
you get
big,
enough,
you
you kind of have to keep like, because I find this a lot of times people get like, you know, or a lot of, like, that's your business is keeping people listening, and I think that kind of causes you to say things that, how should I say, not necessarily aren't true. That's not the case, but like you kind of have this like attitude or this air of like, you said, like you got to know it all, and you got to keep people kind of mad. You know,
you gotta have a take. You gotta have a take on P Diddy. Like all, you have to have something to say about fucking
99,000 bottles of lube.
Everything. Yeah, I gotta, you know.
Yeah.
Like the P Diddy thing. I don't know anything about him.
Yeah. I think there's a lot of that, and like, I think audience capture is a real thing.
100%.
Like people will get captured by their own audience, so they don't want to offend them or don't want to say something too against their beliefs, so they would lose a lot of
try
people.
to run my audience off.
Oh, speaking of which, the guy that fucked a dog came into my work again this last week.
Jesus
Okay,
Christ.
you need to wear a goddamn GoPro and either start showing us physical evidence or otherwise.
he came in, and you know, for a guy that tried to fuck a dog, like he's very polite. You know, I will say that.
Did you ask him if it's cool?
Well, you don't get a dog in the back being an asshole.
And I think Magoo heard this story, correct?
Did he try or did he succeed? Like,
For some reason, I have nightmares about this, but it sounds familiar.
So he did not succeed. And in his defense, the only reason that he was trying to fuck a dog is because he was trying to fuck his mom before that, and it didn't work out.
Many cases. I mean, hey, dude, there's
This
like a
is
support group out there.
crazy.
It's like, hey, look, we all have been there. I mean,
how
it's okay.
I know about it is from reading police documents. The thing that shocked me about it is that this happened out in Thurston County. This didn't happen where I live in Mason County, because the people in Olympia,
obviously.
When I tell people in Olympia, like, oh, I live out here, it's like, oh, you fuck your cousin or something. Like, you're a hillbilly because you live out
that's
there.
safe for us in Alabama, Georgia, Mississippi, Tennessee.
That's normal. Don't
But
ever
no,
let anyone say
Yeah,
that's
you're
normal.
not stealing our culture. goddammit. By the way, my family reunion August 7th is going to be so hot.
we were hanging out at a party one time, and my brother looks at me and he goes, "Man, Allie's pretty hot." I was like, "That's our cousin, dude." No, he's like,
Like, first cousin?
He's like, "Nah, second."
I love Gyro's.
Second's a little close.
What's the qualifier?
Second's a little
I was like,
close.
"Dude,
What's
keep
the
that shit
qualifier?
to yourself."
Relax,
He's like,
Justin.
Am I
Jeez.
wrong? I was like, "No, you're not wrong, but you don't say that out loud."
I love it that he goes, Magoo, Protestants versus Catholics from 175 years ago. Where you stand? First or second, cousin?
It depends. If you get to like third and fourth, it's a little bit more acceptable.
I mean, if you got to
but-
use two hands to like,
When it's like third,
I get it.
cousin,
I
twice
get it.
removed or something. It's like, is there even any like significant relationship?
Well, see,
It's like
the problem is
5%,
when
which
you
is
come
the
from
highest
such
fertility rate, by the way.
when you come from such good stock, you want to make sure that you have derivatives between. I mean, don't. I don't want to break it down to be like an Excel form, but
Listen, I actually didn't. I thought that was kind of weird, but this is weird.
Find out
But
Typo did the math on all this.
like I had an like this. I say this again, but my anthropology friend, he starts like explaining. He's like, dude, all throughout history, most people are marrying their third or fourth cousin. And I'm
Yeah.
like, no, they're not. And he's like, no, that is 100% true. And he like shows me the stats and math on it.
Don't
And he's
tell
like,
RFK, he's gonna be
there's
so
a
pissed.
reason. He's like, there's a reason why the fertility rate is highest amongst third and fourth cousins. I'm like, this sounds wrong to me, my friend. And he's like, it's not. This is how you got here. Your grandparents were probably cousins, dude.
You're not attracted to what you're attracted to because you have any free will. Welcome to hell. Yeah.
Smaller communities back then, you had less options.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, when you put it like that, yeah, that makes sense. And we made fun of the Muslims all the time in the Marine Corps. I'm like, yeah, they're just marrying their cousins, but like, they live in like small villages and they're a little bit more primitive to us. And I was like, damn, that makes sense, dude. They don't have like an ability to like get on Tinder and match 30 miles away.
They don't have the ability to catch like California AIDS in Alabama because there's physical barriers called getting tired from walking.
Is that why the Mormons have like multiple wives so that they can?
I don't know how
you
you just got
muted
muted
yourself.
there. But
It's because Adam Smith reigns supreme, and we should probably all.
you got MI6 throwing birds at this guy. You got Adam Smith muting him now.
He lives in a what like dark mirror or whatever the fuck. Where he's in a portal. There's something about the Pacific Northwest. I think it was made for Satan. Just can't be there.
Weird shit happens.
I
Wait,
think it's
Adam
obvious.
Smith. Adam Smith is the wealth of nations. Joseph Smith is the Mormons.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, same lineage, burn both instincts.
I'm
Good
so
on you.
retarded that I
Pull
just
that,
went along.
pull
with
that
you
graphic
because I
back
was
up.
like,
Who's
that
the
makes
most
sense.
autistic?
We got a new leader.
Reigning
there's that,
champion.
like genetic, like if you look at like this, like hereditary diseases and like recessive traits in like Utah, where like a lot of like there's like a lot of like like genetic defects that are usually pretty rare that are like very dominant there. Because,
where like cancer was
one
0% amongst all ethnicities in like 1724.
Yeah, they got a lot of
Cancer's
genetic
a
problems
modern
because they're
man-made.
breeding.
My inner Jesse Ventura's coming out. I was like, you don't know what they were working on.
That actually sounded like Jesse Ventura.
Thank you.
What do you mean I can't go into the facility? I'm the governor of Minnesota. Sir, this is Alaska.
Yeah, same diff. Whatever. We're next to Canada. Get over it.
Did you ever see that
All
episode
right.
of his conspiracy show? That shit was hilarious.
Yeah.
It was good talking to you guys, but I gotta get off here.
See you, buddy.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet ya.
we crossed into the cousin fuck end, and we better end it before it gets retarded.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.